and we got to educate because we keep going around trying to find who know the most Arabic. I mean, one brother, he was one time, I think it was last week. One brother, he was just sitting in the front of the masjid. He wasn't blocking the door. He just it was nice, warm there. He just sitting on the to the side. Brothers come out, man. Tell them, man, you got to go in the Juma. We got to go inside. If the brother's sitting there, he's not blocking the door. He ain't causing no disturbance. It was hot that day. He just want to. So these are the kind of things that that's where common sense coming at. You just can't keep going around in circles with this kind of stuff. Because I just said before, we have to start building. We got to do for self. Everywhere around here in the city of Philadelphia, I go around, everybody's building. And the people doing the building don't look like us. Sometimes I have to catch myself. I said, I be saying, man, there's no African Americans doing the building. We almost the majority here in the city. I mean, they doing the sidewalks, they doing housing, they doing everything. And I look, sometimes I stop and look. As a matter of fact, I don't even see the white boys doing it. And you know something up. And then I'm not exaggerating. God's my witness. I wouldn't lie to you. I don't lie. That's right. Anytime they neutralize the white boy in construction, they just let you. That just let me know, man. Look here, we got to go to work, man. As your man Bilal just said, we got to get busy. Yeah. And I was just over at our plant the Tuesday. As again, I was all you hear that coming about. We do have actual plant, a building here in Philadelphia that we own. And through Allah's mercy, man, we're going to bring it. We're going to have that thing up and running. Because something we got to do it. Kids keep sitting around year after year, man. You don't have nothing to call your own. People suffering, and it's a need. Affordable housing, man. Here and this, it's not just in Philadelphia; it's around the whole country. That's right. So we got to do it. So. And just like here in Philly, and once we get going here in Philadelphia, it's not just be in Philly. We're gonna branch out. Remember this halal industry. I mean, we're gonna be in there on every city. Yeah. Yeah. And we're going and the whole thing, and we're gonna have businesses, uh, schools, industry, jobs. You know. Yeah. We can do. A matter of fact, we can build our own colleges. Yeah. Matter of fact, we can have our own. And when we start establishing our businesses and get in the community and really not taking over, man, but just making it grow, and we start producing pretty much. Now, part of that plan too is have our own security force. Yeah. We can do it. We can same way they got in city of Philadelphia. You got several colleges. You got Temple, you got Drexel. They call it the Big Five in college basketball. That's 5 years. You got more than that, really. But all those colleges have their own police force. You got the city. You got the last one. Every last one of them, they have their own police force. And they tied in with the city of Philadelphia. And they tied in with the city of Philadelphia. But Brother Nate just said. Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of my grandsons, he just got a job with Drexel University Police Department. I guess he's been there. I don't think he's been there a year yet. I was saying that to say this here. Not only no, we have to do. Not only we going to do, we have to do it. And not only just policing the colleges, but just in our communities where we live at, you can have our own security force. Right. Hey, it's certified. Right. They get certification. You can carry on. You're certified security man. Yeah. See, that's what our religion. We pray and we work, and as some pray, somebody stand in God. You have to have people to protect and maintain. Yeah. Now, brother Nate just said we have to protect and maintain our community. The law tells us that in the Quran. Yeah. And so we can't, we're not gonna get too spiritual. We're gonna stay right even kill. We're gonna touch every base, spiritual, the material, everything. But we have to begin to start making this halal industry, this halal way of life, a reality. Yeah. I mean, everything our thoughts, prayers, actions, everything have to be in accord with Allah. Yeah. You can stop. Everybody can stop their own stuff. You know, my sane thinking is that in accord? Is that in accord with the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad? Of course, we got this stuff is got to change. Can't keep going around year after year. Everybody being successful except us. I mean, Hispanics, Chinese, everybody doing good except the African American. Got to change that. I just mentioned earlier, man, who was doing all the building? They doing all the work. So this is going to be the talk every week. The halal industry. It's going to be every week. It's a good topic. It's a topic that's needed. Of course, we got to break it into a reality. We got to bring it into a reality. You know, they're going around now. What's going into the political world? You don't know what's going to happen next. So that means what you got to do now is set up your own. You got to do for self. Start with the Imam Elijah Muhammad. Do for self. Black man, raise yourself up, man. Do for self. Yeah. Come together. Yeah. Yeah. Man, we don't know. We don't give even Shaitan looking at you. Matter of fact, he ready to smack you upside the head, man. You can't do that. So again, this halal industry, this halal way of life, all our thoughts, actions, everything we do, we want to be in accord, making sure that it's pleasing to Allah. Everything, how we deal with our families, everything we do, we will make sure that's pleasing to Allah. That's right. Everything. Yeah. So as we talk about building, and it's something that we have to do, and if it's Allah's will, we're going to do it. We have to do it. There's no way we can sit around here and just watch everybody else be successful and we catching hell. Allah didn't do it. He definitely didn't do it. Shaitan ain't got the power to make you do it. If you fall for the whisper, that's on you. He can't make you do it. Act like that. Be unproductive. He can suggest that you be unproductive, but he can't make you be unproductive. That's on you. So we want to we want to make this halal industry a reality. Yeah. So we're gonna touch on every aspect: spiritual, the family, the business, and we'll be able to do for self. We can take our own people, then we can take care of everybody else who needs help. We can stop at the basics. Food, clothing, and shelter. We can have have housing for our people, jobs, industry. So we have to go around asking nobody for nothing. Matter of fact, we can, because me and Nick come out of construction industry. Matter of fact, we can have our own union. So if we start building, we can get our own union and be legit. It can be legit. And it's nothing's out of our reach if we come together and do for self. Nothing can stop us except us. So with that, I'm gonna bring Brother Nate on and I'll bring my comments to a close. So greet you. Assalamu alaikum.
Brother James. Assalamu alaikum. Nate Muhammad here. The halal industry. Do for self. Like to just start off with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer. And I just like to just stay in accordance with James. He set the pace and we ride along with him. And it's about being halal, establishing halal. To establish the criteria that We building a wholesome atmosphere. And we can go all the way back to when we first started. We reverend the womb that bore us. We came out of the Nation of Islam. I ain't talking about your parents now. I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. We was born and we was conditioned to establish order in our life, direction, discipline, being able to preparing us for the Islamic as a whole, in the Islam, international Islam. It was preparing us for that. We see the similarity to when I first walked in and we took the Shahada. Oh man, I know about this. Got to be patient. Sure, we learned how to be patient when we had to, get left on posts, and we couldn't leave our post until we was properly relieved. So we was prepared for that. It might have left a bad taste in your mouth because you ain't understand it at that time, but we was prepared for it. So when it came time to being patient or learn and accept being patient, hey, you just have to tough it out. We got to prepare yourself for a long haul. It's going to take time. That is one of the greatest things that I've learned. You understand how to deal with what Allah wants us to do. But everything starts with a commitment. Then we can pray to Allah for some help. Put our little pennies together to help pay for our commitment. Faster away from the things that will stop us from dealing and bringing about our commitment. In the Hajj, to participate and cooperate in the activities that designed to help bring about our commitment. So these are principles that we utilize under Islam. We got principles. As they used to say back in the day, a man without principles, a man without direction. I learned that as a teenager, but I understand it more today because everything comes to a realization. You see the benefits of all this. We can maneuver in this society, not touched by it. It's surrounding us, all around us, but we can maneuver because we have principles. The principle is designed to check what's going on in society. Talking about society, I always said, we were just talking earlier, as James was saying, where we realize society has control over the people. The people walks around like they in control. They're not in control of nothing. Whatever society wanted them to go, that's where they go. And if it hadn't been for the 5 prayers, we'd be floating right along with them. Because the 5 prayers, those 15 minutes that you take out of your day, it's a lifeline to keep all that foolishness away from you. Because your mind is on doing what Allah wants, doing what's right and forbidding what's wrong. Brother told me the other day, or not the other day, but if you didn't know all of it, you didn't know the religion. I said the religion is only built around doing what's right and forbidding what's wrong. It's not built on how much Arabic you know. If you know it, alhamdulillah. That doesn't make you better than nobody else. You're not greater than anybody else. Allah is the greatest, not man, anybody. We sitting in here, we was going over the things that dealing with the people. We talk about dealing with the people a lot. We want to establish the halal industry. We want to establish everything halal. But we're going to have to go through the people. Allah moves through the people. And if you have to be able to deal with the people. Allah got all these rules and regulations to protect the welfare of the people, not to abuse them. But we have to understand that coming out of this environment, society done corrupted the people's heart. And we have to clean it up. We can't clean it up beating them down, forcing everything. We clean them up by being an example of what we're talking about. We cannot, let me repeat, we cannot force our ideology on the people, but the people can't force their ideology on us either. So that's like that two-way street that we can go give and we get. See, that protects us in the clinch where, okay, it's easy to be an example. If I can't force my ideology on you, I gotta be an example. Be an example of giving you that word to the right, giving you a word to the right and let you go. I'm saying all this is because we have things when we go deal with the people, you try to appeal to them with what's going on around them, and they blow you off like, yeah, well, I'm doing what I want to do. I'll give you an example. We have a little situation around the masjid where they like to feed the cats, where they tells me that it's a hadith on feeding cats. Alhamdulillah, that's good. I don't have a problem with that. But are also creating another problem that when everybody brings food to feed the cat has an abundance of food that they don't eat all the time. So the birds comes in and the birds come and finish off the food or help themselves to the food. And in the process, any of y'all ever fed birds or birds, wherever you feed the bird, they're gonna come right back to wherever they're at, they're gonna poop right there on you. They're gonna let you have it. Yeah, poop it up. You understand? I'm saying all this and stuff because it just created a problem. Now, during Jumar Friday, about 3 people got hit with bird poop, which I brought to their attention. Oh, Nate, you just don't like cats. You always got something going. You don't like cats. No. Did you see how that happened? Why it happened? We are the protectors and maintainers. We have to maintain the structure around the masjid. So you have to be aware of what's going on around that masjid and how it got there. You can't correct nothing. And if you can't ascertain the truth, you can't get to the root of it. And getting to the root of it is where it started from. This is why I'm saying all this, because we're going to still have to be able to deal with the people. And if we can't deal with them from a down to earth perspective, yes, we're dealing with the religion, but it's down to earth. We won't be receptive to it. And we got a lot of people. It's a diversified crowd there. Got a little bit of everybody there. And they coming from Islam from all different directions. And everybody seems like they jockey to see who's going to be heard or who's the loudest or who to be seen or what to be seen. No, you don't go in there looking to be seen. You go there to worship. And worship is working together. That's why the first thing that we did with going into the halal industry is to unify first. We have to unify everything first. Then we can do for self. Then we're ready to deal with our own community. You can't come and I just came off the street, did my shahada, and now I'm a Muslim and I can come in and do all the things the Muslim supposed to do. No, there's a process. You have to go through a form of discipline first. You just can't walk in there. The society just created a little monster in you. They done contaminated your heart. And you can't come around a lot of people that they clean their heart up. And then here you come all contaminated. It's gonna be chaos. It'll be a chaotic atmosphere. I'm saying all this here stuff, and as James said, we're gonna be saying it over and over and over again. It's not going nowhere.
That's right.
Because we have to establish our criteria.
Yes.
You can't establish it just by just talking today, and tomorrow we do something else. No, we got to talk it today and talk it tomorrow and talk it the next day and talk it until it's established where you don't have to talk it no more. You can show it. That's the road we came. We came from that route, establishing what Allah wants first. But we have to clean ourselves, to build ourselves, prepare ourselves to be a halal. We came through the first resurrection, second resurrection. Now we ready to be halal. We ready to move out halal.
That's right.
But like I said, the communities are diversified, and everybody at the time might not see what you're talking about. Just like they didn't see about the cat situation.
That's right. That's right.
And it's nothing to argue about, to get mad. You recognize it, and then you move on. That's why it's important that you build everything around like-minded people. You go ahead and search for the people that thinks like you. And here we have a legacy right here. Thank Allah for AM 360 that we can be heard. We can share our welfare, our intellect, as the brother Thomas Abdul Salam said, mentioned his whole criteria about AM 360. Your intellect is respected, your voice protected. That's our kind of language. That's something that we can get behind and move off of. Because it's a sign that somebody learned the religion, the basis of the religion, and turn it around and using it from an experience, whatever he experienced from learning the basics, he turned around and used it, give it back to the people. This is why it's very important that we always listen to each other first, so we can determine for ourselves what we want to do. Do we want to support them? Can we support them? Will we support them? AM 360, they are an avenue that we should demand all our support. The number one Islamic radio station on the air in the nation. Oh, we got to get behind them. We have to support them. As we grow, or as they grow, we grow right along with them. So we all growing. And if we can use AM 360 to get our point across to us, that's why it's important that we look forward. I know I look forward every Wednesday to talk, to address the community. Even it's over the country. Of course, would like to be doing it here in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, but we'll get there. We still have to be patient.
That's right.
We still have to persevere. And we still have to ask Allah for strength so we can hold fast in doing what He wants. Everything gonna start and end with Allah. So in between, we just be patient and wait. All this here stuff is gonna come to a head, whether we be around to see it or not. Doesn't matter. The point is that you understand what's going on and adjust your character to what Allah wants us to do. Not sit back, I'll go on a tyrant and I want to be heard. We got to do something. No, we don't have control over that. Only thing we got control over how we deal with it. In Islam, we're never the aggressor, so we can't go and make any demand. Now, if we protecting and maintaining the masjid, we can make demands there. But outside of that, no, we have to be patient. Whatever day, whatever it brings during the course of a day, that's what we deal with. Because we don't know what Allah is going to send up day by day. But whatever he sent us, we can determine that this is from Allah. I could see this, the setup, the structure with AM 360. This is right in accordance with what we want. They take the lead, and we can follow with them, support them, because of the effort that we make. That's right under our whole being of doing for self. We first have to unite with each other first. We have to recognize what's one doing. Oh, okay. Just want to hold up. We want to read these PSA right now. This is James Bashir to read the PCA.
Yes.
PSA, I'm sorry. Nate Muhammad here, the Halal industry.
Assalamu alaikum. American Muslim 360, the #1 Islamic radio station in the nation. Support Muslim Journal, digitally or manuscript or both. Muslim Journal is 60 plus years in existence. Join us every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for an edition of the Halal Industry Do for Self with your host, Imam Wali Ayyub Bilal, President, Founder, and CEO of Bilal Inc., and co-host James Bashir Nate Muhammad and Brian Ali. The interest of Bilal Inc. is to establish economics for the African American people, descendants of the slaves of America. This program is to encourage people to unite and to build economic strength, to establish community life by doing for self, to build the model community. Support Graceline community in their efforts to educate on financial literacy and promote financial functionality. Why? Historical disparity primarily amongst medium, low to no income persons.
Yes, that was James Bashir with the PSA. Snake Muhammad again, the halal industry, two for self. And I'll continue in our conversation because that's all this is. This is a conversation when we sit up here and to share what's on our mind. Again, as I said, respect the intellect. And we cherish and wish everybody come forward to share what's on their mind. As AM 360 talked about, the think tank. The think tank is sitting down, sharing what's on your mind under Shore Bainham structure. To elaborate about some of the things that's affecting our society, our community, where we can come up with some very good ideas and all these things that's coming up is great. I know Allah has created people to help each other from a collective standpoint. Right now, they might be running around individually, but once they see how society and what society do to you for being individuals, it's best to do it collectively with the oneness of Allah. This is why we said with Allah's name, everything starts with Allah's name. You cannot go wrong doing things with Allah out front first. I sat back, as I tell you my stories about the Bosnia on Hajj, they told me that all the hell they caught is because they got away from doing what Allah wants. We sitting back, we was mentioned about uh, the Iran and Iraq war back in the day. And how could that be when you proclaim to be Muslims? What do Allah says? Come to find out that you have Iraq was Sunni Muslims. Iran was Shiites. These are two different thoughts and approach to Islam based on what the Hadith says, not based on what Allah says, based on what the Hadith says. So I said, wow, you can see how that conflict came about because you never did it with the way Allah said do it. You did it the way the Hadith said. That can be traditionally approaching everything. You go in the country, Iran, you're going to follow the Shiite approach. You go in Iraq, you're going to follow the Sunni approach. But then when do we follow Allah? So when do we do that? You know, Allah says all the good come to you, come from Him, and all the bad come to you, come from yourself. So you had to be moving selfishly in order for something bad to happen. And right now, look at the Middle East is in shambles. It's devastating because society done took advantage of their difference of opinion. There's divided. They done divide themselves, and now they're being conquered. They don't have nobody to blame but themselves. Yes, you can always repent and work to reestablish everything the way Allah wants you to do it, not the way you want, not the way your father did it, his father did it, and their grandfather. No, do it the way Allah say do it. You know, we sat back and watched. Juma Friday, they bombed the masjid doing prayer, fighting the Shiites and the Sunnis. Boy, you got to look forward to your chastisement from Allah. Believe me. You know, I wouldn't want that on me. You know, that is too heavy to hold that banner. I couldn't stand it. And it's because of some malice. Society done got into your heart and contaminated it. Now you're taking it out on whoever's close around you. Can't do that. We are a religion of peace. You have to get the peace in your heart first. Then you can approach everything peacefully. But you have to establish that. And that's the job. And that is a real big job to do that. And I don't know how long it's going to take you to get change that condition of your heart. It's a challenge. Everything in Islam is a challenge. But you have to commit yourself to it. As I said earlier about the pillars, use the principles to build and get anything we need in society and protect us within society. Use it. It has been proven to work because Islam done been around over 1,400 years. It's done proven. You're going with a winner. You're going with something that's already been established by Almighty God. How you won't use it? Why not would you use that? But you'll go do some old crazy flim-flam stuff out in society that doesn't have nothing to do with the welfare of the people, having the people's best interests at heart. This is why we sit here and we have people to remind us what we should do, what we could do, and what we're gonna do. This is why we got the people here. You got mentors that always have a word to the right to say to you. They didn't say you do this or else. No, it's a word to the right to help you understand what you're dealing with. Because our challenge is outside. When you walk out the door to establish anything, that is the challenge. But Lord showed us how to withstand that challenge, how to deal with that challenge. You got to be patient. You can't think it's going to be done overnight. You gotta be, you gotta persevere. You can't give up after you commit yourself to it. And you have to pray. You got to ask the Lord for some strength to help you. Because sometimes you might not be able to bear the strain of it. This is why it's important that the religion, as Allah said, the Quran is a book of guidance. Guiding you where? Guiding you in the direction where Allah wants you to be. You want to be in the ranks for the righteous? You're going to have to build everything and direct it towards what Allah wants. This is the halal approach. This is the whole purpose of halal. We done came out of the haram lifestyle. And the reason why we can be able to withstand it and walk and be in it and not about it is that we came through it. We know what we know what we came through, and we knew it was wrong. And if we came through it, we got the mental scars to back us up. But this was Allah guiding us, sending people who to guide you. So when we talk about the halal industry, anything halal, it comes easy to be able to digest it. It's easy to be able to strive towards it because we understand what's haram. And I'm not just talking about, oh, this is permissible by Allah. I just pronounce Allah's name over. No, this is a lifestyle. You have to grow to this point. And you can appreciate being a halal because you earned it. If you don't get nothing in Islam on general principles, GP, you earn every bit of it. But Allah gives you that choice, whether you want to do it or you not. You not. You make the choice. He don't sit there and make you do it. You make the choice to do it. That's how you can know that Allah is Akbar, because He's the one guided you through all this. That's how you know that. I made the choice, but Allah rolled with me, told me, yeah, you're going to get what you strive for, long as you hold fast, long as you treat my creatures with a lowly spirit, respectfully. That's all that is. And in the process, you change the condition of your heart. It becomes peaceful. Become peaceful. Society out here force everything on you, got their foot all on your neck, kick you in your butt from all angles, and they expect you to not to be mad. And they walking around, or you see the meanest looking face out there, and you look at, oh, I ain't saying nothing to him. Say something to him. Yeah. What are you got to be mad at this world. Or you pretending? Yeah, I'm mad at because I don't understand what's going on. It wasn't meant for you to understand it as long as you stay under that. You have to get to the point that you want to know what's going on around you, or else you will suffer. You definitely will suffer in the midst of all that. That's why the patient comes in. Yeah, you're going to have to see me now or see me later. You understand? Ain't going nowhere. I'm gearing up for the long run. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get off this ground the way we want and how we want it, but I know it's going to happen. There's no doubt. It might happen the next hour, next day, next week, month, year. We don't know. But we strive, stay focused on our objectives, use that discipline that we learn, especially from the Nation of Islam, to be patient, to hold fast. Well, how can I be patient under all this madness when I don't know that's right, the Imam just said, trust in Allah and get busy on and to cooperate in a lot of activity that's going on to help you stay, or give your attention to them. Society it dreads for your attention. It wants your attention. Here we coming in right now. Here's coming in the football season. Yeah. And they're going to bombard you with all this football. You're going to be 24/7 football. It wants your undivided attention to take you away from what the law wants us to do. The baseball, and here come basketball right behind it. All this. And the people is so gullible and they just feeds right into it. And these same people never give nothing back to the community as a whole. And they'll tell you, well, I don't have to. It's your business. But you grab the attention of the people. Commercial this, commercial there. Talk radio. Hey, here we in Philadelphia, the Delaware Valley last year. Of course, you heard about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. So they had a parade on a Friday. July Friday, they had it on a parade. And we was at the masjid, and whoa, where everybody at? I said, they at the parade. Because we had the whole community, the Juma was half full, which from what is usually big. But they was on, and next thing you know, come 1:30, something to 2 here, everybody starts showing up. Yeah, hey, I can see I was at the parade. Oh, how you know? Said you wasn't here. Again, this is why society has your attention. It's nothing wrong. You want to be entertained with that. That's fine. But we have to show the same enthusiasm getting behind what Allah wants us to do. We don't show that. Well, I might pray when I feel like it. Or I wrestle with it. Or I get some chatty when I feel like it. I wrestle with it. But when you're in a jam, first thing you're knocking on the masjid door for Sadaqah. I want to pray now. Why are you praying? You praying now? Why is that? I'm saying all this, and I'll continue to say, we have to look at what we doing, and now how Allah give us the opportunity to decide what we want. Just like the people chose to go to the parade, they got that. I can't get mad at them for that. And how the people chose to do whatever they doing out in society. But there's always repercussions behind everything that we do. It's always. Allah, all the good come to you from Allah, all the bad come to you from yourself. And you can't escape anything. It's best to strive and build everything around being halal. And that process of going through that, you have to clean your heart up first. You have to eliminate all the blight out your life. We have to learn to submit to Allah's will. And submitting to his will is just giving him your attention. Just like when we deal with each other, we listen to him because we give him our attention. But once we establish giving our attention first to Allah first, not to man. Never put a man in front of Allah. We sat up there and say, yeah, it's Allah, me and Allah. No, it's Allah and me. That's how that goes. Allah is the one that is glorified. Me, I just need to understand it because I can deal with the understanding because I can share it. And your understanding comes from your experience. It don't come from you read a book. You can comprehend that book. But to understand it, you have to live it. You have to actually go through the trials and tribulations of establishing something. That's right. This is what we've been conditioned for. We've been prepared to do this. This is not happened by fault. We didn't stumble over this. We walked right in it. We walked right in it knowing what we're going to be up against. Walk right in it. This is nothing that we haven't been prepared for. That's right. That's what makes it easier to accept whatever you're going to encounter. Yeah, it can get under your skin a little bit, some of the stuff that can come on. But the remembrance of Allah is always greater. I don't care how mad they get you, you can always calm down. Just the remembering of Allah. Knowing that Allah is testing you as part of your test. You have to recognize that. And if you don't recognize it, you're going to always get upset. You see the people get bounced off the wall, pissed off, shoot off like a firecracker. Because it's all about them. No. Allah shows us things for us to learn. He showed you things. You looking at it emotional because you're not looking at it coming from Allah. You're just looking at it because it happened. Everybody sitting around Philadelphia Masjid, the people within the community around the Muslim. Oh, I don't want to go to Philadelphia Masjid. They still having shootings around there. No. We never had another encounter around the Masjid since that day at the Eid. And everybody sit there and emotionally were upset. No. Allah just showed us we have to give some attention to these youth, especially when they come around the masjid. That's what I got from it. I wasn't caught up bent out of shape because of the shooting. Because that's all in the neighborhood. That's all in society. That's all they do. We go through this every day. Here you walk up and you hear, oh yeah, there was a shooting down at the train station, bus station. Yeah. All these things. But if you don't give it no attention, you can't correct it. In order to give it attention, you got to go back to where it starts from. Go to the root of it. Ascertain that truth. That's how you ascertain the truth. Get to the root. This is why the Quran come into effect, helping us deal with some of the problems within our society. The majority of time, we create our own problems. Once you get to the root of it, see where it started from, you can realize that you created it. And we can solve our own problem. They used to say the solution is right there in our problem. All we had to do is look at it. Look into the problem. Look into the situation. And then there's good old society. Society creates a lot of problems for the people, unbeknown what they're doing. And we want to turn around and want to take it out on each other. That's not fair. That's not smart. That's not intelligent. This is why we have to be able to sit here and talk and share our experience, share our wealth. We can't continue to move around individually, being controlled by our weakness, because we're definitely not being controlled by our intelligence, our strong point. we would have been further ahead in everything. The only reason why we going through all this is that we never take the time out to look at it. What we gonna think? That Allah gonna send somebody down or drop something out of the sky and bust you in the head and grant you 3 wishes? That ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have to look into the problem. You're gonna have to give that problem some attention and leave it open for suggestions from the people to let them share in the realization and to solve these problems with us, and even to spearhead to push our program further ahead. We have to listen to, because again, I believe there's no doubt in my mind that that solution is right among us. It's so close to us, we can reach out and touch it. I believe that. But the point is, we have to take the time out and humble ourselves. Build everything around what Allah wants first. Not when you feel like it. Not when somebody says so. Come in the door wanting to establish that. Deal with that. We ain't got to come up with no surprises. Everything is right in front of us. Moving straight ahead. Staying focused on what we want to do and how we want to do it. This is what we got here. And we thank Allah for we having, again, as I said earlier, people around us to help keep us on a straight path or keep us focused on the direction where we want to go. If you have a direction where you're going, you can't fall for the traps in society. There's nothing but traps out in society for you to fall in. They're only designed to discourage you and hold you up because you can't stop progress. It's moving whether you in the way or not. You get in the way, here come a natural disaster, knock you right out of the way. So you can't stop it. You don't have no control over any of these things. That's why I was saying, why we fall victim to it when all we have to do is stand up. Easy said than done. We don't have to take a second class citizen, the backseat to nobody. We can spear ahead, straight ahead, initiating what we had already established within ourselves. He mentioned about in the PSA about Graceline. Graceline, finance, credit union. We once had a credit union at one time, and we've seen how it worked. We can still get behind Graceline to help facilitate and push that out front. These are the people all around the country. We talking to everybody around the country. We're just not in the Delaware Valley. People ain't gonna do nothing unless they see you do something. Because today everybody been hooking and crooking. We've been subjected and surrounded by hooking and crooking all our lives. So we're gonna approach everything very hesitant. They just don't jump into nothing on GP right away. No. But if the people see, oh, I see what y'all did. I watched you start off with scratch. And look where you got. I'm sure AM 360 here with Brother Imam, Thomas Abdul Salam, started off with scratch. But he was committed to establish the twin server. He was committed. They say that physically no longer with us to appreciate it. But as long as we telling his and saying his name, he's still with us spiritually. It's just like your parents. They're no longer with you or your loved one, but they still with you spiritually. Our ancestors, it's no longer with us, but they still here with us spiritually. Why? Because we talk about what they did. We talk about what they stood for and how they inspire you to continue on what they wanted to establish. This is the halal industry. This is being halal, establishing a halal. This is something that we ain't just stumble across. And as I told Brian, we didn't find this in a Cracker Jack box. It was established. We learned this from a lot of sweat equity. This is why I look forward to this. This is part of me. Oh, excuse me. This is part of us. That's Imam. Imam won't let you say nothing individual. He always remind, this is us, brother. Yes. That's why, and I bear witness to it. Because I know that's what he stands for. And that's where you can submit to that. Ain't no problem readjusting your conversation based on it. But we still, the remembrance of Allah is very important in anything that we go to do. You can't get around that. And if we incorporate that in everything that we do, we'll come out with more positive, wholesome things. Society done got away from what Allah wants. I was sitting there talking with this sister at the masjid, and she's a Christian because she happened to work with the CDCs in the masjid, and she said, a lot of the Christians is talking about coming over to Islam. I said, what? A lot of Christians are talking about coming over to Islam because they won't clarify whether Jesus was a Caucasian or person of color. And history, as they say, will go and tell you how was they. And she said the preachers and the pastors won't tell the people. They continue to move off of what's in front of them. And this is what I'm talking about mean by in this society, how they go by what society say. They done got your attention and you don't want to go beyond that. You don't want to go check it to see if they was right. We all know they whitewashed a lot of things. We know that. That's why I say that we have to stand up and challenge ourselves. You ain't have to challenge society. Challenge yourself. You challenge yourself. You tell society to back off. Allah says save yourself from the hellfire first. You have to get your imam in check with yourself. Then you can appreciate the atmosphere being halal. And you can function and you can walk with your head up. Not ashamed when the call of prayer come in, go make salat. And you make a salat to glorify your Lord because I'm backing everything up out here in the society. Society can't touch me now. They used to tell us that when you come to the mosque, the temple, and the masjids, when you walk in the door, Shaitan stops at the door. He won't follow you. He won't follow you in. Look like we ready for another PSA. They're giving me the Q sign. You understand that PSA time. So here's James Bashir with the reading of the PSA. Nate Muhammad, Halal industry.
Assalamu alaikum. James Bashir. CWSC, Model Community National Resource Directory. The MCNRD is where you can connect with resourceful people willing to dedicate volunteer hours to assist you in your efforts of nonprofit or for-profit interests. Individuals with more social concerns can connect you with our Volunteer Human Resource Network. CWSC's VHRN information can be shared as to who, when, and or where to get the service you need. Join CWSC today. Go to cwsc.us and click on Join CWSC. Do not forget to click on the blue donate button while on our website.
Yeah, thanks again, Brother James. Nate Muhammad again, the Halal industry. Do for self. Just like let the audience know you have a question, comment, statement. Feel free to raise your hand and we'll get to you as soon as possible. Right now, we have our professor in the house with us. Brian Ali, here to share a few comments with you. So with further ado, I'd like to present Brian Ali. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Brother Nate. I appreciate that. A nice introduction. Makes me feel like one of the family.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm talking about today because Nate and I talked about it. I believe just about 2 days ago we were discussing it, and we were on the same line of thought. So I knew I was okay to talk to you. But before I start, let me give you the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Today I want to talk about something that we all know about, but we don't all agree what it actually is. It's something different to you. It's something different to me. In a word, it's comfort. We all want to be comfortable. And often you've earned being comfortable by being out and working hard and come home, you want to relax, you want to get comfortable, put on your sweats, put on your comfy clothes, put your slippers on. Comfort. I feel as though, however, we may have taken comfort a little too far. Because now we seem to want to be comfortable all the time. The least bit of uncomfortability, discomfort makes us cringe and seek that solace and comfort. And so the psychologists and the motivational speakers all tell you, well, you got to expand your comfort zone. They never tell you how, but they want you to expand your comfort zone. Wow. Well, a lot of us don't know how to do that. So what we do is actually shrink our comfort zone, and we get less and less comfortable being away from the things that make us comfortable. One slight, someone saying something out of line, we get uncomfortable. And so we shy away. And today, those merchants of uncomfortability, if I can use that, is that a word, Imam? Is that uncomfortability? The merchants of uncomfortability, the merchants who sell uncomfortable to us, AKA politicians, are trying now to make us shrink and fall back into our comfort zone. But there's a different way that we can deal with comfort that's not just trying to shrink up and fall back into the things that make you comfortable. It's not the comfort food that you grew up with. It's a comfort food. It's my grandma's favorite recipe. Every time I try it, I feel comfortable. I feel good. It's not that favorite piece of clothing that you put on and makes you feel comfortable. Simply, it's this advice. And I hope the brother will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a good piece of advice. We have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. They have decided that all they need to do now is make you uncomfortable, and you shy away from anything that seems to put you in that frame of mind where you're not comfortable, where you're not feeling good about yourself and what's going on. Now, let's be honest. We seek comfort. No one would deliberately want to be uncomfortable because, well, with uncomfort comes discomfort, then dis-ease, then pain, followed by real disease. When we were growing up, at least these brothers that I know here, when we were growing up, liars would be uncomfortable telling lies. They would get nervous if you pointed out that they were lying. That's why they had lie detectors, because they could detect the physiology of a liar would change when he starts to lie. Today, the liars are comfortable lying. Today, we need a truth detector. We got to get them and tie them up to something and make them say something that's truthful, and then you'll see the needle go off because they're so comfortable lying. We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because Satan wants us to be uncomfortable. He knows that we shy away from the uncomfortable positions that people take, even when someone else is being uncomfortable or being made uncomfortable. Sometimes we get uncomfortable watching them be uncomfortable. We don't like to see someone suffering and we want to put an end to it by let's try to make them comfortable. We're going to have to get accustomed to being uncomfortable because the Shaitan knows that all he has to do is make you uncomfortable and you will acquiesce. You will begin to say, well, all right, well, that's not so bad. Lying is bad. Lying is haram, period. There's no justification really for the lie. But now these current group of politicians are the most prolific liars you will ever meet. Let me say that again. They are the most prolific liars you will ever meet. They have gotten to the point where they can't even discern when they're lying. But Allah says, when someone comes at you, that comes at you some information about someone, he says what? He says, ascertain the truth. The liars don't really want you to believe their lies. They want you to not be able to ascertain what is true. Because if you can't figure out what is true, you become susceptible to the liar lying to you. Look at the young kid that was in the House of Congress, Santos. Just build lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie, and couldn't even control it himself. Yet they kept him in Congress for over a year. Why? Because they wanted to remain in power. And it was okay after all. Well, everybody lies, don't we? We all lie. No, we all don't lie. But they took that as a sign of being one of them. The only time that they actually finally got rid of him was when he began to lie to the ones who were with him, who had supported him, who were backing him, who were defending him. He began to lie about them. He began to steal from them. Now, woo, all of a sudden, a lie is a difficult thing. We got to get rid of this liar. He may expose us as liars. Lying, again, as I said earlier, is haram. And the liars that haven't felt the ramifications of the lies that they're telling, but it's coming. Just as Santos is now sitting in a prison cell for his web of lies that only were catching the lightweight fly type of mentalities that wanted to believe it and needed to believe it. the lying still is not right. The truth is the truth, even if no one believes it. And a lie is a lie, even if everyone believes it. Am I right? You may have heard this story before. It's about a young boy and he lied, and his parents knew he lied, but they couldn't convince him to confess. Tell us that you lied. He stuck to the lie, he stuck to the story. And so the father finally said, listen, son, if you just admit that you lied, there will be no punishment, no repercussions. You won't get a whipping, you won't get a time, you won't get anything, but just admit that you lied. So finally he got the boy to admit, to fess up and say, I lied. He said, okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. The next day, the father goes to the boy and says, listen, I'm so proud of you because you said and admitted that you lied. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the toy store for being honest about lying, and I'm going to let you pick out any toy that you want. The boy was ecstatic. They got to the toy store. He was up and down the aisles looking at every toy. He finally picks the one he likes, his favorite of one. They get to the cash register. And when it's their turn, their father picks up the item and hands it back to the cashier and says, we don't want this. Now the boy's saying, wait a minute, you promised. You said I could have if I just. He said, I lied. Yeah. Now do you see what lying feels like when you tell people lies? We have to get to the point where these liars begin to feel the ramifications of lying. Because right now they're feeling pretty good about themselves because their lies, I don't want to say getting over, but it's the best way to put it, are getting over on people. They have decided that lying is the way to go. And because there have been no punishments in store for them, they continue to lie. And again, it's not for you to believe the lie, it's for you to not be able to discern what is the truth. Without being able to stand on the truth, the ragged hard rock of truth, you don't know where you stand really. So we had, again, I must say, have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. We have to be the ones who are willing to stand by the truth, even if it makes us uncomfortable or it makes the people with us uncomfortable. Once we get comfortable with being uncomfortable, the ones who are promoting the uncomfortability, I'm getting a little tongue tied here, but keep with me. They begin to get uncomfortable. See, now you've expanded your comfort zone in the right way. You've decided you will be okay with being uncomfortable. You've removed Satan's implementation of leading you astray because he has implemented lying because he told the first lie ever. Our father Adam couldn't be excused because when Satan lied to him, he had never heard a lie. So how could he discern whether it was, he had only known the truth because Allah, who breathed into him of his ruach and spirit, told him the nature of the entire creation. He had no idea that they were liars, but he was told, this is an avowed enemy. Do not take him as an avowed enemy. He made the mistake of listening to someone lying, and now we're here on this earth. But again, this is a magnificent place. Gender's 1,000 times better, but this is a magnificent place when you see how magnificent the creation is, actually. When you travel around the earth, travel to different parts of the country, travel to different parts of the world, you can see the sameness of the humanity. Not just in Chicago and Los Angeles and Philadelphia and Detroit, in the Philippines, in Hawaii, in China, in Japan, in Dubai, in Alaska, all around the world, in Europe, in South America, in Africa. And yet you see the sameness in the creation. You see the sameness in the things that were created. A bird doesn't change into something else because it's in a different part of the world. We are only different because we are geographically in different locations. Some of us need more melanin in our skin to protect us from the sun. Some of us need less. Some of us need kinky hair, curly hair, so that when it rains, it will moisturize our heads and our brains. And some of us living in damp, wet, snowy climates don't need it. So our hair is just straight, so the rain can just fall right off. Some of us have noses that have wider nostrils because the air is more humid. And we need to inhale more air. Some of us have thinner noses because you're in the Caucasus Mountains and you don't really need to breathe in that much air. It's thinner air up there. Geographically, we are different, but our physiology is virtually identical. I did. I don't believe there's a mother, a newborn baby born, and in a room of all newborn babies, and the mother can't see the baby, but is in the other side, can hear the baby, cannot distinguish which baby is from Argentina, which one is from Yugoslavia, which one is from Czechoslovakia, which one is from Brazil, because babies sound the same. You can't even tell if it's a male or female because babies sound the same. The sameness in the creation should make us understand that there is a oneness of creation and one creator. Is that right? So, if we know this, there's a oneness to truth because the truth is the truth. However, lying has many variations. The lie can change in the blink of an eye. The liar will say, yeah, it was like, I caught a fish and it was like 2 feet long. But by the time he gets back with everybody, man, the fish must have been 10 feet. That's why I couldn't bring it in the boat. It was 10 feet long. Well, if nobody's with you, the fish can be whatever size you want. Until the person in the boat with you says, man, quit lying. That fish was 6 inches long and you couldn't even reel that one in. Ooh. Here come the truth, bashing the brains out of falsehood. That's what we need. We need to be comfortable being uncomfortable because they're trying to make us uncomfortable and try to make us acquiesce to their lies so that they can continue to lie. Wow. You mean you want to lie and continue to lie? That's your existence on the earth is lying? That doesn't make any sense. No one in their right mind would just because the lie is so fragile. I believe in the Quran it says it's like a spider's web. It's flimsy. The spider's web is intricate when the spider web designs it, but it's designed to catch what? Insects. Something lightweight, something that can't really get itself out of the entanglement. If we are mentally lightweights, we get entangled in the lies. But all of us, if I look around here and I see these grown men, all they have to do, you don't even have to touch the web. Just wave your hand strong and it destroys it. All we have to do is step up and just wave our hand, and these lies that they're telling, they fall by the wayside. You don't even usually see the spider when you destroy the spider's web. You know, when someone else trying to find some other fool to get caught up in the spider's web. The current occupant of the White House, I can't even say he's a spider, but they have webs. His underling, they spin webs. These delicate, intricate webs. But they're only designed to catch the fool who can be caught because he's in mentality a lightweight. Once your mentality reaches the adult responsible level, You don't get caught in these lightweight lies. It's got to be heavy, heavy, intricate lies, and it's always changing. As I said, the truth is the truth, but lies change at the drop of a hat. They could change with like the weather changes. They could change just because they felt like changing a lie. Again, the fish went from 6 inches to 10 feet, and it never neither one was probably really the truth, but we don't know. And we may never know. But if you build your life on a house of lies, it has no foundation. The first storm that comes, the first strong blowing of truth that comes, destroys your house because it had no foundation. The wind blew it away. Other elements, an earthquake came and removed the soil, the foundation that was under it, which was just the earth, and it was destroyed. There are a number of ways that it can be destroyed because it's not based on the sound truth. And the sound truth is, well, they can tell you, having been in construction, without that foundation, I mean, you can get windows cracked and shutters blown off, but without that foundation, you don't have a reliable structure. So your existence, as far as being a domiciled person, is gone on a whim because the earth swallowed it up, because the wind blew it away, whatever it is. We've got to get accustomed to dealing on a truthful level and being comfortable dealing on a truthful level, because if we don't, our houses will be flimsy, our lives will be flimsy, our existence will be flimsy, and we will not be worthy of entering into the gender that was created for the believers, because we won't be worthy of it. We won't be able to say, this is my house, this is what I worked for all my life. We must, and I will end on this note, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because if we don't, all they have to do is continue to make it uncomfortable for us to do this or that, or be this place or that place, and we shy away from it. And before you know it, we're just sitting in a corner of a room, and that's the only place we feel comfortable. We only feel comfortable if they say we can be comfortable now. Think about something. Noah had to be uncomfortable being talked about by everybody and being said that he was crazy. He got used to or got comfortable with being uncomfortable. And who won out on that? I think it was Noah. Ibrahim, or Abraham in the Bible, was had to be uncomfortable once he realized that these statues that his father and the elders were worshiping were just that, statues. And they tried to make him even more uncomfortable once they found that he destroyed the statues and their idols by throwing him into the fire. You can't get more uncomfortable than being thrown into the fire. Allah made the fire a point of comfort for him. And that's something. When you're right, you're right. Most of our prophets, may Allah be pleased with them all and grant them their reward, went through a strong period of discomfort, but made it known that they were going to continue to prophesize, admonish, and give the good news to the people of what's to come, even if they were put into all kinds of confinements. Some were even slaughtered. They went so far as to slaughter a prophet of God because they made them uncomfortable. But the prophet never tried to get comfort or tried to comfort them with agreeing to their lies. He got comfortable with being uncomfortable. So with that, I will end that with saying, when you're feeling uncomfortable, perhaps it's because you're right. because perhaps it's because you're doing right. And so I'm saying just get comfortable with being uncomfortable and let the ones who are lying that should be rightfully uncomfortable get uncomfortable when you walk into the room and you chase them down the street with nothing but the truth. And that's something else. So my time is up and I'm going to turn this back over to Nate Muhammad, the one and only. So I will leave you as I greeted you with the greetings of peace. Aye, salam alaikum.
All right. We have that was Brian Ali, the professor, being uncomfortable in a comfortable situation. We always can be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation as long as we lead with the law ones. That is our protector of all that. We'll never be unbalanced in our approach. We'll be aware of what's going on around us at all times. Thank Allah. We have another PSA real quick, and before we close everything out, is James Bashir.
Thank you, Brother Nick. Assalamu alaikum. Join us every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for an edition of the Halal Industry, Do for Self, with your host, Imam Wali Ayyub Bilal, President, Founder, and CEO of Bilal Zinc, and co-host, James Bashir Nate Muhammad. The interest of Bilal Zinc is to establish economics for the African American people, descendants of the slaves of America. This program is to encourage people to unite and to build economic strength, to establish community life by doing for self, to build the model community. American Muslim 360, the #1 Islamic radio station in the nation. Support Muslim Journal digitally or manuscript or both. Muslim Journal is 60 plus years in existence. Support Graceline community in their efforts to educate on financial literacy and promote financial functionality. Why? Historical disparity primarily amongst the medium, low to no income persons.
Yes, that was James Bashir again with the PSA. This is Nate Muhammad again. The Halal Industry, do for self. Just like to sum up our conversation today, and it was based on lead with the law when we go out and dealing with the people. Lead with what the law wants first. Whatever ideology or whatever rule we came, share that with the people if they ask you. But we're going to treat them the way Allah said, treat the people. Be fair and honest. Keep their best interests at your heart. Remember, we're only servants to the people. I don't mean to say we're flunkies for the people, but we're just servants. We're there to give a word to the right, to the people, and point them in a direction that's going to be beneficial to them. Point them in a direction where it's going to be make it easier for them, because dealing with society is hard as hell. Dealing with this side is hard as hell all by itself. And just that word to the right means a lot. It takes a lot of pressure off of one who's struggling, trying to figure out what's going on around. We done experienced this before dealing with the public. I told you before, one young brother was so distressed. They start talking, and next you know, he bust out crying, talking about life is so hard. Yeah. No, life is just a challenge. It's not hard. You just don't know how to approach it or deal with it. Lead with what Allah wants. And He tells you how to deal with His challenges. He tells you. That's the mercifulness of it. He don't want to put you in a situation He hasn't prepared you for. But you have to be receptive to what you want to do and how you want to do it. You can't just sit here and everything is going to be easy. No, everything is a struggle. With every hardship coming, you say it all the time. And you have to bunker down and weather the storm. But keep Allah out in front of you, because that's who inspires you to labor on. That's where you get your inspiration from, to labor on. We're struggling with some of the things here in Philadelphia with the property and whatnot. Even though we don't appreciate what happened, we still got to deal with it. We still got to labor on and stay focused on our objective, regardless what the city or society says. We have to stay focused, and we have to remind each other we're there for each other, to help each other, because we all slip as far as in our attitude towards this thing, because it's touchy. This is why it's important that we pool our resource and we work from a unification standpoint. That's the first thing we talked about, that we want to, first thing we will do will come together. But what neutralizes everything, we come together leading with what Allah wants, not come together for a shindig or just to be getting together. No, it's a purpose. And we got the number one thing that we all have in common, and that's La ilaha illallah, Muhammadan Rasul. That's the one thing we got in common. And if we build everything around that, the like-minded people will gravitate towards each other. They're just, for some reason, something brought me or brought us together. How many times I heard that and said that? It wasn't on just GP, general principle. It was meant to happen because of your stand and where you're coming from, how you want to go about doing. And just like a lot of people going migrate away from you. Oh no, them guys, I don't know. Them guys, they usually say, yeah, they are Imam Muhammad guys. They won't, they won't say that we standing up for what Allah wants. They want to identify you with certain person. No, identify us with La ilaha illallah. Because when I look at you, I don't care where you come from. I don't care what direction you came. First thing I want to know is, hey, you got faith in Allah? And if you got faith in Allah, use it. What we establish faith in Allah if we ain't going to use it? And how you use it, you lead with it. You lead with it. That's my armor. Yeah. We walk out the door, walk out with your faith. Yeah. When you come inside the masjid, you can put your armor down. Put it on the corner there. You know what I mean? And I can go ahead and make salat or whatever I have to do. This is the whole thing that we've been striving for, and all the chaos we done been through. But when the smoke cleared, who's standing? But glad to have Allah, Muhammadan Rasul. And in those who establish it in their heart, regardless which way they came, they'll be supportive. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It's quite a few, you know, and it's a slow process. But in the meantime, we got to continue to labor on. We have to keep our agenda, our objective out front at all times. And when the people see us, yeah, they see me come in here, they go, the halal industry. They go, Nate, he's halal. He's going halal. That's all he talk about. Halal. That's all I got to talk about. I can talk about how we got there, but I want to talk about where we're going. There you go. This is what we want to do. We want to pool the resource. We want to clarify everything. I even mentioned to the brother that we're going to have to sit down and bring all these people in with different school of thoughts and sit down and say, what's the beef? Where all this come from? All these words back and forth, this is that, who coming, who ain't, who's just not doing this. No. That's right. We want to ascertain the truth. Put it on the table. That's right. Yeah. And if you feel comfortable with where you came, we'll see it. Yeah. It'll show. I know the road we came was very positive and progressive. I know the way I was and where I am today is because of the road we came. While we could stand up here and solely stand up for being halal, stand up promoting halal. We earned it again through our understanding, through our efforts, through our sacrifice. Because nobody get anything without a sacrifice. That's how I know we're going to be successful. Everybody that sacrificed something, or Allah always rewarded them with progress. Everybody. Matter of fact, we sacrificed to get to where we at today in learning how to be halal. We sacrifice. What we sacrifice? We sacrifice all that foolishness out in the street. Let it go. Because it doesn't have our best interests at heart. It just want to use you, abuse you, and kick you to the curb. Allah is very merciful to us and appreciate standing up for him. He don't need us. We need him. But he still appreciates because of your effort that we make. And you show it. Your appreciation is how you treat his creatures, especially man and woman. So this is this here and everything that's been designed is to turn us and pull us apart to create confusion among us, to control our destination, to hold us up from reaching our destination. But we have to be able to go back and see where it started from in order to correct it. And if you never know where it started from, you can't correct it. You might put a band-aid over it, but it don't go away. You're not correcting nothing. This is why the patient, where the patient comes in, that we can have the patience to look through and strive and struggle to get to that point. And then when we elaborate on it, there's no arguments. It's clear. It's clear. And that's how, hey, I've been doing it for years. Yeah, I got to go to the root of this thing. Let me check out where it come from. How it came about. What did we do? What happened? Ooh. But sometimes we like to, as somebody said something earlier about Islam. how we establish Islam. No, it's not Islam, it's Islam. Islam, as Imam Muhammad will say. Submission to a will of Allah. With the book of guidance, the Quran. You can't go wrong with them. They work hand in hand. And if we build everything around that, we should see some form of success in our life. And we can be able to stand up. And the people can identify, that's halal. That's halal. Right now, they don't even know nothing about it. The average person doesn't know nothing about halal. They hear it. You go down the neighborhood, them people don't have a clue what you're talking about. But they will always tell you, I don't know what you're about, but I like it. You know, I like what you bring about. I like your personal disposition. Because why? When the people come to our facility, we greet them warmly. I always tell them, you ran family, sis. Shoot. You know, our ancestors came from the west coast of Africa. 90% or 80% of them was Muslims. So you should, whether you know it or not, you ran family. And we treat you with that royalty. We treat you like we appreciate you. And the people in the response, they want to come back. But that's halal. That's what we do from a halal disposition. Now, I'm not just, as Brian was saying, his talk a couple of weeks ago about being kind. Yeah, we being kind to them. But we also doing what our ancestors would appreciate us doing to them. That's right. We're doing for those who all came before us beforehand, where they used to always want to, I just want us to see us work together, come together. Yeah. And if we stand up there with, again, Halal, Muhammad Rasulullah, we are together. We're in the universal concept, which what Allah wanted us, or created for us. This is very important to the people, that in order for us to get the best out of them, we got to treat them the best. We have to put them in an atmosphere where they are comfortable enough to tell and be themselves. Yes. They said that you can talk to a lot of people, or people are easy to open up if they're in a nice, comfortable atmosphere. And if you're very comfortable around them and they can relate to what you tell or what you're saying, they easily can open up and you can have a dialogue with them. This is what we want with the people. The think tank and all that. Just sit down and be able to function. Let's talk. Let's solve our problem. Let's deal with these problems. They're not going away. It's like a monkey on your back. Sooner or later, you got to deal with it. But it's best to have an idea how to deal with it. What you working on. And as long as we lead with Allah first, not second, not when you feel like it, first. And if we ain't going to lead with what Allah says, it's unacceptable. We ain't going nowhere. All we're going to do is go through the motion. Yes, sir. Play religion. Yes, sir. How about that? Can't do that. Nah. No red light. Because everything starts with Allah and it's going to end with Allah. In the oneness of Allah. This is why all the people all around the world can come around and we can all identify with a universal language. That universal language is La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. And they can bear witness to it. They will humble to themselves to it. But we have to be able to be an example of what we're talking about first. We have to be able to, that image we have to present, an image of what we're talking about. We want to work together. So we have to show us working together as one. And we take turns through show abandonment, taking the lead on whatever we want to do. How they used to say, whoever know the most over it, let them take the lead. And we support him. That's the same thing we'll do
Together, establish a criteria.
Yeah.
Together.
Togetherly, we establish that criteria to move. Then it's going to be easy to do for ourselves. Yeah, I mean, we can do this. But we have to establish that oneness first. Establish that first. If we done been to the point, those who going to come behind us, I ain't going to say they got it easy because everything always going to be hard. Yeah. But those who came before us laid the groundwork for us to get to the point that we can talk the language we talking right now. People came before us, laid the groundwork. Do we sit back and castrate them or beat them down? No. We remind them that they always have a place in our heart because they were instrumental in establish whatever we got. Sincerely. Yeah. That is our lifeline, working with each other through our sincerity. Oh man, I feel comfortable around you, man. I don't know something. Yeah, I'm just lying. I see that in the Philadelphia last year when we walked through there. You understand? Where they sit back. Oh well, you go in depth when you explain something. You go more in depth in what happened. No, I'm just telling you where I came from. The road I came down. That's not explaining. That's telling you where I've been through. You know. And I'm not in the midst of beating you up or thinking I'm better than you. No, I appreciate you. You sitting here saying the same thing I'm saying. And when we can sit up here and move from that manner and sit up and clarify a lot of things that's been happening, going on around us, we can't move forward unless you clarify that. That's just like you couldn't grow as a person in Islam unless you clarify a lot of things in your life. If it was against Islam, you had to let it go. And that's the same thing in everything that we do. If it's against doing what Allah wants us to do, we have to check it. I don't care what goes on in your school of thought, that's fine. But when we come in here, we move as one. Nothing moves unless we move with what Allah says. Mm-hmm. Nothing. And if you think I'm kidding, he'll send one of these disasters towards you. All these people that's been going on have to deal. I feel sorry for the people in the Hurricane Island, and those lifestyle. You know, I sit up and say, whoa, that ain't nothing but the wrath of Allah. I don't know what you did, but that's the wrath of Allah. Then you got to start all over. Now, will you start over glorifying Allah first now? Don't wait till no disaster come and hit you, and then you can say, "Oh God." Yeah. Nah, too late. You know, you always get another opportunity to redeem yourself. as they will say, repent. You know? No, bear witness that Allah is Akbar, not you. Yeah. So we can't continue to float around here, not knowing how everything came about. All we have to do is a little research. Today, you can find out anything you want. Before, we had to go through all kinds of books to find out, look, shoot, now you just go on the internet, pop it up, type it in, pop it up, or Google it. Yeah. Yeah, you could. I mean, everything has been made a little easier to get information. But that's another thing. I'm just happy that we have a outlet where we can express our desire. Yes, share our wealth with the people. We thank Sister Sherry, Sister Martha, and the whole staff all from AM 360 for providing an avenue we can exhibit our conversation, put it up on the front. We appreciate that effort from everybody. Those who participate, those who call in, those that listen in order. We appreciate all of you. We look forward. It's almost like a family. You look forward, you look on the board, and you see who's there. Hey, I see who's there. Hey, look forward to seeing them consistently, committedly. But that's all. We look forward to the next week. We come about for another edition of the Halal Industry, to do for self, with your host, James Bashir, Nate Muhammad, Brian Ali, and our beloved Imam, Wali, Ayyub, Bilal, and the sisters, Sister Martha and Sister Sherry. Because without all of us, this program wouldn't have the effort that everybody makes to make sure this is happening. And again, we thank everybody for listening. And this is Nate Muhammad, the Halal Industry, do for self, signing off in peace. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. We are going to go ahead and move forward. We are waiting on Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmin, and we would like to thank all of our listening audience and our last presentation. This is Sister Khalidah Akbar. If it does go out, we will simply log right back in. Let me see if I can make sure I have the host seat. Okay. All right. Yes, we do have the host seat. I am the host now, and we are grateful for the presentation that was before us. And yes, we do want to remain humble. We do want to work vis-a-vis, and we want to stay the course. Okay, to stay the course. We are, alhamdulillah, we have Brother Edward Willis, and we are going to go ahead with our reading the bio of Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmin. He will be sharing some information with us, and then he will proceed, inshallah, with his presentation on the entrepreneurial workshop. Let's open up with the Al-Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi alaihim. Waliddallin. I pray that everybody had a wonderful, wonderful day today. And again, this is Sister Khalidah Akbar. We are going to proceed with reading our beloved Imam's bio, inshallah. All right. All right. Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmin, since February 2010, serves as the Imam or spiritual leader for the Biloxi Islamic Center in Biloxi, Mississippi. Imam Abdul Mukmin is a student of the late Imam Wali Muhammad Rahim Allah Alayh. He shares his knowledge and skills with several supporters, being committed to sharing the Muslim American experience with the world. Imam Abdul Mukmin has traveled to Africa, serves as the convener for the Mississippi Association of Masajid and Centers, serves as the convener for the Southern Association of Masjid Centers, Atlanta, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, and South Carolina. He has been the convener. He has been the convener for the SAMC. He is a member of the National Body of the Conveners. He is the founding member and president of the Interfaith Alliance of Mississippi, where he helped organize and participate in interfaith events and stop the hate vigils. He's a former member of the Gulf Coast Clergy Association, former Muslim chaplain with the Mississippi Department of Corrections, membership with East Biloxi Community Collaborative, affiliated with the Gulf Coast Center for Nonviolence Coordinated Community Response Team. He has been a presenter at the Kellogg Foundation National Day of Racial Healing on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So today our speaker will be Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmin. If you can hear me, go ahead and unmute your mic. And welcome to American Muslim 360. You must be on mute because we cannot hear you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to give him a chance to go ahead and connect, and I'm going to follow up with him. I know he has the information, and I've spoken with him today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to watch a short video on Imam Wali Muhammad just to get us prepared for the entrepreneurship presentation today. We know that he was big, Imam Wali Muhammad, on establishing model communities. So at this time, we're going to do that, inshallah.
God says that he didn't create us to stand over each other, but he created us tribes, nations, different, so that we would want to get acquainted with each other, so that we would want to know each other. Muslims, that tells us that Allah, the Lord creator of all, wants Muslims to be in dialogue with people of other religions. How are we going to respond to God's teaching to us that he didn't make us different societies or different nations for us to despise each other or stand over each other, but he made us different nations so that our curiosities will be aroused and we will want to get acquainted with each other. And when we get acquainted with each other, we will benefit from the differences and appreciate the differences. Our nation is a different nation from that of China, the people of China, and others. Our nation is different, and they are different. But when we come to know each other, we find that they have benefits that we can use, and we have benefits that they can use. And coming to the world table, to the global table of acquaintance, the global table of acquaintance, where we are getting acquainted with each other. We can go from that global table back to home much more richer than we were before we sat with each other at the global community table to have dialogue and get acquainted so we know each other better, to respect each other more. The more we know of each other's differences and appreciate what God has favored or blessed us with separately, the richer we will be in knowledge, in human worth, and even in faith. My faith has been improved through interaction or through dialogue with non-Muslims of the Christian religion and the Jewish religion. We look at the trends, the global trends, and if we are people of faith following Scripture, we will try to benefit from what God has said of the future times that are coming, the ends of man's efforts and planning, the conclusions that we are headed for. And God says, ultimately, these conclusions are going to be fair and just conclusions. Fair and just conclusions. We shouldn't look at events in the life of a nation or in the life of this globe separate, taken out of the context of developing history, progressing history. But we should look at these events in the context of the lifeline of history. I have not lost respect for the United States of America. After rejecting it, I was born and raised in a society that rejected it, so I was born being nursed by the teaching of separatism and rejection, refusing to accept the United States as a government that we would value or should value. As I began to think freely, and remember, God says, think. In the Quran, God says, think, for surely thinking brings you profits, benefits. As a thinker, I began to study America's life and history for myself and come up with an estimate of its value to society, to human beings in society, for myself. And I couldn't judge it by what occurred in its history to make my fathers and mothers slaves in the South, or to take away our human respect and human worth. I had to judge it by its whole lifeline. And when I looked at its whole lifeline, I saw that it was really a nation like the soul of one person. A person that had committed itself to high human values and standards, but had been tempted at certain periods of time, at certain steps in time, had been tempted and gave in to the temptation. Then I look at it in the conclusion of that ugly time period that supported white supremacy, and I see it repenting its ways. I see it overcoming white supremacy. I see it purging its own soul to get rid of racism in its spirit and in its body. So should I put it down now? I should have put it down in 1950. I shouldn't wait until it changed to put it down. So I'm not with those who want to put down America. Not at this time. For me, this is my day. My day is here now. Now that a room is made for me in the most powerful country on this earth, you think I'm going to follow you out of the house? I'm going into my room. And I'm going to engage the competitors for more space in the house. We are peacemakers. Our model, the Prophet Muhammad, the peacemaker. We should be liberators. We should be championing the cause of freedom of religion. We should be making contributions to the betterment of mankind, not just to ourselves, our families, and our neighborhoods, but to mankind. And if you do your work for yourself in the right spirit, your work will be a contribution to all people in the spirit of obedience to God, in the spirit of unity with all humanity. in the spirit of cooperation with all the good forces and good minds of mankind on this earth. If you do your separate work in that spirit, your separate work is going to be not only a great contribution to yourself and your family and your neighborhood, it's going to be a great contribution to mankind. What we are building in the United States of America for our life as Muslims in this country, we are doing it for ourselves, but we are doing it in the spirit of a true Muslim follower of the model man Muhammad. And what we are doing is going to benefit not only us, but other people. If you know what God intends for the human being, you will feel that it is as much an obligation on your neighborhood, on your community, to produce the needs of the community: housing, businesses, transportation, financial institutions, human service departments or buildings, hospitals, clinics, whatever. It is as much an obligation on you to do that as it is on you to make your 5 daily prayers. Because if you make your 5 daily prayers and do dhikrs on your fingers and fast the month of Ramadan and do extra prayers and extra fasting and don't do the other part of it, which is associated with marriage. We are told that the Prophet said marriage is half of your religion. To marry is half of your religion. Why is that so important? To marry is to accept the social institution, the social establishment, to make your contribution to the social institution, the social establishment. And to marry is also to make your contribution to the economic life of the society. Because if you're a real man, you're a man like Adam was. Peace be upon the prophet man, the first man, Adam. And God said to him, I put all of this before you. Now cultivate it. Cultivate it. He was given the ground and the waters and the trees and the forests all to utilize it and to cultivate it. And if you're a real natural born man that God made you, or that God made your fathers, you marry not only to have sex, buddy, that's the small part of it. You marry to make your contribution to the social establishment and to make your contribution to the growth and health of the economy. If sex is all of it, then you're no more than a dog in heat. Lastly, in this address, I'm going to appeal to you to sincerely study your religion for yourself. There's not enough time on Friday to give you all you need to know for that week about your religion. The Imam doesn't have enough time on Friday, Jummah Day, to give you what you need to know about your religion. You're going to have to become literate. You're going to have to start reading Islamic books, good Islamic books, the Quran more, and study it more. God says, don't count your religion as a favor to God. God says, count it as a favor to you. You're the one that's getting the great benefit. God doesn't need it. Islam and Quran is not for God, it's for you, for human beings. God never needed to read the Quran. Many of us came from poor Christian life in this great country, America. Our preacher was poor. The church was poor. We were poor. That was the situation for most of us who came from Christianity to Islam in this country. There's the exception, but it's very rare. So we didn't come to Islam, with really a strong knowledge of Christianity. We were just people who believed. What will make a difference is that we become educated in Islam. And if we become educated in Islam, then we can do what we want to do with our life. We can lift it up and we can put it down. And I know we are not fools to put our life down. We're going to lift it up. Let me read something to you here. A professor at Chicago University said about the future. I think he's addressing the future of Muslims in this country. Indirectly and not directly. Professor Martin Marty, University of Chicago professor of theology, a theologian, well respected. I met him personally, I know him personally. He says, unfamiliar religions might arouse suspicion at first, but over the long run, they fit in. Every new religious group has gone through it. They fit in. What does that mean? They plan to grow with America while preserving their identity. And that's what we have to do. And all over this world, on all the continents where Muslims exist, if they are a minority in a nation or in a society, they should plan their life with respect for the life of the people that they exist with. They should come up with a fair, honest, sincere evaluation of the true beliefs and true aims and purposes of those people or the aspiration of the people that they differ from. They should learn the purity of those people for themselves. They should learn the innocence of the other people for themselves so that they will have respect and value their neighbors who are not Muslim and work with their neighbors who are not Muslim and plan their life inside of the life of the majority, that it grows and contribute to the excellence of the people that differ, that are different from them. This is our recommendation in America. This is our recommendation for every minority Muslim people in any majority people, wherever they exist on this earth. Time is out for us to move upon prejudices, move upon hatred. This is not the way of people of faith. We are to move with an interest in contributing to the excellence of our people, even to the excellence of our enemies. Allah says in our Quran the same thing that the Christians have in their religion. Says sometimes showing kindness to an avowed enemy will have the effect of turning that avowed enemy into a bosom friend. So God hasn't prepared us to just go out and say, enemy, I have to fight him. God wants us to be intelligent. God wants us to be rational. God wants us to have foresight, insight, circumspection. God wants us to see, not be in the dark. Dear Muslims, what is really the invitation of Islam to us? It's the invitation to come to civilization, to rise up in civilization as a model for civilized nations, not just for ourselves. It is an invitation to come out of the darkness of ignorant, unfounded prejudices, superstition, hatred of another people, desire for dominance, to come out of that blindness, to come out of that corruption, to come out of that evil, to come out of that dumbness, that ignorance, into the guidance of God, which is the light. And he hath revealed the religion and sent Muhammad for what purpose? To bring you out of the darkness into the light. And he says, lastly, in this my address, you are the best community. Brought out, evolved, brought out of what? Darkness. Darkness. The darkness of ignorance, the darkness of ignorance, the darkness of unfounded prejudices, the darkness of hatred, bigotry, greed for power, and etc., for dominance. He brought us out of that into the light of freedom, justice, equality, to liberate oppressed and fallen humanity. This is the great religion of Islam. We have to give it its due respect. To give it its due respect, you have to learn it in its full context. You have to see Islam in its full context. You can't see Islam in a small imam leading 20 people next door to a liquor store. You can't see Islam there. You have to see Islam in the Quran and see Islam in the full context of the Quran and see Islam in the full context of the life of Muhammad the Prophet. And in the best examples that has followed his leadership since the early Ummah till today. That's how you are to see Islam. You are to see Islam in the excellence of the follower that says he's a Muslim. In his excellence. Look for the follower who demonstrates excellence of humanity, excellence of mind, excellence of behavior. Look for Islam in that follower, and then you will see Islam. Thank you. Let's go ahead. Forward. Fearing nothing. Seeing nothing as an obstruction. The Imam is right. I'm a visionary. I've been a visionary since I was a little boy. I've been straining to see into the future for my life as a human being and for my people as a community. I've been straining since I was a child to see the way into the future. And God has answered my struggle and my striving and my suffering. God has answered it with clear vision. And I've come to know that we have no power of our own, just what is said to us in the Quran. We have no power of our own. We are not in command of these things. We are just the instruments of God. God is doing everything good, and we are nothing but his instruments. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.
Imam Debiddin Muhammad and I left New York City aboard a Saudi Arabian airline and landed in Jeddah almost 12 hours later. Upon our arrival at King Abdulaziz Airport, we were met by His Excellencies Dr. Ahmed Muhammad Ali, Dr. Muhammad Yamani, and many other religious scholars, and driven to the dignitary reception area of the airport. Imam Muhammad was on a tour of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for discussions on Islam and its progress in America with scholars of the Muslim World League, the Haramain, university presidents, and masjid imams. We arrived very late on Thursday and were taken to a hotel in Jeddah for our overnight stay. On Friday morning, Sheikh Fawzi Adil Majid Kurdi, director of the Muslim World League Jeddah office, picked us up and drove us to one of the most magnificent facilities I have ever seen for Salatul Jummah. I said facility because this is not just a mosque, but it is more of a complex that houses many varied activities. They call this place Medina Tayyibat al-Khair, meaning city of the best, of the good things. They took us on a tour of the facility, which they told us was completed some 5 years ago, and its architectural design dates back hundreds of years. The quality of education and knowledge, along with the vocational and language courses, qualify this place to be called a city, because all of the fields of study in Islam can be found here in this self-contained institution. On Saturday, we prepared ourselves for Umrah with the traditional bath and special clothing. They took us directly to the Muslim World League headquarters in Mecca, which is a beautiful modern structure and is a gift from King Fahad to Rabita. Our first appointment was with the chief imam of the Haramain, or the Sacred Mosque, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdullah Zubair. 7 imams supervised the activities at the 2 holy mosques in Mecca and Medina, and Sheikh Zubair is their chief. Mansur Ahmed Baha accompanied us to the office of the chief imam. Mansur is the director of public relations and reception for the Muslim World League. Sheikh Zubair and Imam Muhammad had a long conversation over tea and coffee, covering many aspects of Islam, including the conditions of Muslims in America. At the end of the discussion, Sheikh Zubair greeted the Imam as His Excellency and His Eminence, gave him a Quran and a piece of the Kaaba cover with the original Arabic script written on it. After spending nearly an hour with the chief Imam, we left and headed for the Haram, the sacred mosque. As the sacred mosque came into view, words could not be found to describe the grandest and most sacred structure in the world to Muslims. It is so beautiful and magnificent that no Photoshop could do it justice, Imam Muhammad said. We entered the immediate area of the Kaaba near Yamani Corner, went to the corner of the Kaaba housing the black stone, saluted it with Allahu Akbar, God is greater, and joined thousands of others already performing the ritual of Tawaf. Performing Tawaf is to walk around the Kaaba 7 times counterclockwise, reciting du'as or prayers. Afterward, we prayed 2 rak'ahs at Abraham's station. The next morning, we met Mansur and left for the university, Qura, which means Mother of Cities, where Imam Muhammad had an appointment with the dean of the Sharia College, Dr. Muhammad Qutb, the younger brother of the well-known Egyptian translator, scholar, and commentator of Quran, Sayyid Qutb. Dr. Muhammad Qutb autographed a book, Shades of Quran, written by his late brother Sayyid, and presented it to the Imam, thanking him for his visit and work in America for Islam. That evening, we arrived back at the World Muslim League headquarters, where Imam Muhammad was expected to deliver a major address. Dr. Muhammad Ahmed Ali greeted Imam Muhammad upon his arrival and said that they had invited more than at our conventions, accompanied us to this 3-story elegant edifice. The auditorium was completely full. Imam Muhammad began his lecture with a prayer and a historical overview of the origin of the Nation of Islam. He explained how Mr. Farad began the Nation of Islam and attracted hundreds of blacks, including his father, Elijah Muhammad, to what he called Islam. Among the many word usages introduced to the black community was Allah, Muhammad, Quran, Mecca, Medina, the crescent flag, Muslim militarism, and Muslim nations. The members of the audience were seemingly spellbound listening to a true story of black Americans being introduced to Islam.
Alhamdulillah Rabbi Alameen. Alhamdulillah with us. We are going to move forward with Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmin, who has joined us. Imam Tariq, we have already shared your bio. And those of you who have just joined us, we want you to know that he is number one, a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is also the national convener for the southern states. And we did share his bio. I'm going to go ahead and actually put that in the chat, inshallah. At this time, Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmin, I would like for you to open up your mic and tell us about you and what is your vision for our community moving forward. You don't have to go too much in detail, but as the Southern convener, tell us what is your vision for moving forward and what is one of your main concerns on Imam Wafdi Muhammad Rahimah's community, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, great. You all can hear me. First, I would like to say my apologies. It was an oversight on my part uh, concerning tonight's program. So I'm really not on screen, visual, because I'm not in any condition to be. So please forgive me for that. And thank you, Sister Khalidah, for reaching out a few minutes ago to remind me. So again, my apologies. Um, Now, what am I? What? Repeat to me. What am I? What you all need me to start at, Khalida?
I want you to tell us a little bit about you and what
Oh,
drives you to be the Muslim that you are. We can start with that.
I'm a
Yes.
native of Mississippi, central Mississippi. That is a town northeast of Jackson. The name of the town is Carthage. There's a Carthage, Tennessee, and I think there's a Carthage in Texas. And I think the one in Mississippi got it named second, if I'm not mistaken. Um, So just the first time I came to the coast and lived was the Mississippi Gulf Coast was 74 to 79. And there was some men in the neighborhood selling merchandise, and I did an inquiry, and they said we're Muslim. And so my mother allowed me to come to the temple because it was still the temple at the time. And I know I was maybe between 10 and 11 years of age. And so I left, graduated in 82, relocated back down here in 85. And I think around between 85 and 90, I was working in the building material industry, and some Muslims came in and I sold them some merchandise. And we got to know one another. And I went to New Orleans with them to listen to a lecture by Imam Muhammad. And I seen another gentleman off in the distance, and I asked who he was, and they told me, and I said, "Wow, that's the brother who took me by the hand when I was at that young age." And he's like 85 or 90 today, and I still pay great recognition to him every time he come into the masjid, and he remembered me. So it's been a beautiful experience growing up Muslim, even though my parents and my relatives are not Muslim. I got one first cousin, he's Muslim. I don't know who or what really he identified with. He lived in Milwaukee. Outside of that, no one else in my immediate family, my siblings, my seven sisters, two passed on, and my two older brothers. None of them are Muslim, but we have a very, very beautiful relationship. So as is nothing when it comes to the religion we conflict on. So our mother, and back to my mom right quick, when I told her I wanted to be a Muslim at that young age, she said, "Okay, baby," and she was my number one supporter up until the day she passed. And didn't like anyone to go against me being a Muslim or anyone saying anything against Al Islam. She was real close with two Muslim sisters here at the Islamic Center in Biloxi. Both all of them have passed on, and she traveled with them when they went to listen to the lectures of Imam Muhammad. So um, I know me being Muslim, of course, when I got, I would say, reconnected the way we all are. Um, it was here at the Islamic Center, Biloxi Islamic Center. And I know at one time we left, many of us who was living in Biloxi, I mean Gulfport, because the sister city, Biloxi and Gulfport. Excuse me. We tried to establish masjid there. It lasted for like 2 or 3 years, and then eventually it went away. And upon my arrival back here 10 years ago, they had like six brothers in rotation doing the cookbars, and I cautioned them on that one of those brothers need to be appointed as an imam for the community. Now, however, those brothers were not students of Imam Warranty Muhammad, and they asked me to get in the rotation. I refused. So it came to be that I was approached by one of the sisters, again, it's friends with my mom, who passed on. Really, she passed on a month before my mom in 2018, um, about me being the imam. And I said, no, I have no interest in doing that. But they would not back up. So February, 10, 15 years ago, they appointed me as the imam here. And I'm just trying to be the good brother and good Muslim that I can. And
Alhamdulillah.
so I'm gonna stop there. If
Yes, that's
someone want to,
perfect.
okay, then thank you.
You're welcome. We're going to go a little deeper into Imam Tariq's career because definitely more than meets the eye, and definitely as we are called to Allah, we even surprise ourselves many times. I know working fi sabilillah is a big task, and people see in you sometimes what you don't always see in yourself. So that's why they kept coming for you. I know they did my father the same way. He was determined. He told us that he was moving the family back down south and he wasn't going to be the imam. But that didn't work out because they kept asking him to vote me back in, and he had 7 children, and he was just determined. And then the state of North Carolina moved him here to be a state chaplain after he had went back to school to get his Master's of Divinity. And so they didn't have a masjid here, but alhamdulillah, they were able to establish one. I remember starting out in the schools here, the elementary schools, and then we went to believers' homes, and then we were able to establish a masjid. It wasn't a masjid because it wasn't built from the ground up, so it wasn't an Islamic center. And then we were able to, mashallah, build a masjid al Shaheed. So I am so in tune. That's why I giggled when you said that, because he said the same thing. No, thank you. I've already did it. He had already did it 10 plus years in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we know that that work is not for the light or the faint at heart. So I say all that to say, if you would like to pause right now and take questions, you can on your bio. However, we are going to move forward with your institute, your entrepreneurial institute. We're so excited because we do have some news for our listening audience that inshallah you can share that too. I'll let you share that. We'll be seeing you more than we have currently been seeing you. So at this time, Imam Tariq, is there any questions for Imam Tariq right now based off of his bio and his personal narrative? Alhamdulillah.
Someone please ask the question so I don't start talking. Please.
Well, alhamdulillah. So you did a very good job at giving us an overview of who you are. Entrepreneur.
Khalidah, you're breaking up. I think we lost her. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, brother Imam.
So would you all like for me to start where she said, what she recommended?
Well, I guess she's not back, and I'm not one to make decisions. So whatever you want to continue to do, brother Imam, until she comes back on.
What
Assalamu
about
alaikum, Imam Tariq.
my friend, my brother? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial workshop, how that
Okay.
functions, and if somebody wants to get in it, how do they do that? When will it be coming online? And if somebody started right now, would they be behind, or how easy would it be for them to catch up?
Okay, and if you permit me, Brother Edward, I think that's what Khalidah was leading to, and I think she wanted me to speak to how did I come about starting that. So if this is acceptable, I would do that. About 10 or more years ago, um, I forgot what I was into, and I just started asking. Oh yes, I had formed a company, a business with someone doing interior design. I was designing kitchens and bathrooms and selling them the cabinetry as well as getting them installed. So I'm like, let me look further into this. And then a few people start coming to me to ask me to help them start their business. And like I said, when I started, uh, no, that was me starting the health and nutrition business. That was the first one I established. I established an entity titled the Natural Health and Nutritional Center. That's what it was. And so what I did, I called the treasurer's office because I'm thinking we're dealing with money, and they say no, the Secretary of State does this. So I said okay. So I called the Secretary of State. They said, well, no, you need to start with the IRS first. And because, again, my background was not business and everything. So that was the beginning of that. And so, kind of moving forward, in uh, maybe 10 years ago, maybe, um, I had became affiliated with Commonwealth Partners, a company that uh, Imam Yahya Abdullah founded, along I think with some of his family members, in which I'm still have a business relationship with them today. When he brokered that deal with all the manufacturers in China, and so I just started reading Entrepreneur, Forbes, Black Enterprise, and some more sources. And I found it very interesting about how to do this, how to do that. And so I took many of those articles and I let it be known when I'm doing these presentations where I got the information from. And I converted those articles into these PowerPoint presentations. And like how to name a business, et cetera, et cetera. Very, very good article. I can't remember the source now on where I got it from, but those named sources that I mentioned were the primary ones that I used to make my PowerPoint presentation. And of course, Wikipedia, I think I got how to bid and win government contracts from Wikipedia. Uh, and just asking some questions from some people. And over these years, they are at the level that they are now. Um, and I just keep revising them and correcting the language. I have some of the lectures that Imam
Yes.
Muhammad did on business as well. I have gone throughout the Quran, and I did one from, and I titled it. If you give me a moment here, I want to get this correct. The correct title on this. Of course, it's this presentation heavily influenced by the Quran. And then, of course, we know our prophet was a businessman. This thing's slowing up. I remember reading an article where Imam Muhammad was talking about business, and he said, when I finish here today, I want you to realize and know that you have the Quran. You feel that you have the Quran as a business partner. So the presentation on the Quran is Al Quran as a business partner. Our subtitle, a chapter by chapter of the monetary value of products and services in business development. And we find that in the Quran. Without making this too much of an Arabic, a Quranic Arabic piece, I'm gonna kind of paraphrase this. Surah to Muzalmil, we know this was in chronological order. I think this is probably the third thing that the prophet got. Let me see, Iqra, Kalam. Yes, this was the third thing expression he got from Allah. And again, I'm gonna skip verse 1 and I'll go to verse. No, I'm gonna go to verse 7 here right quick. Um, and I started in this order for a particular reason with this presentation, and because Allah tell him to get some rest at night, and but verse 7 he says, "Inna lakalfi naharin subhin tawil." Truly, for you in the day, and they translated occupation, prolonged occupation. But this subhin is a noun. Subhanallah is the verb form. Subhana is the verb, but this is a noun talking about business. Because subhin, when you research it, you find that it's talking about business, occupation or work or chain of business. And tawil as a noun is talking about wealth, wealth of longevity. And I want to make reference to another early verse that was revealed in Mecca. In Surah Al-Furqan, the question was asked of the prophet, what type of messenger is this who walks the streets and eat food and walks the streets? But that term there, ashwakin, as is in one form mean your legs, but it's also in that form in these two verses, verse 7, where the question is asked, market. And in verse 20, Allah says, same chapter, all of the messengers that he sent ate food and went to the marketplace. So those are early making verse. So I have gone throughout the Quran and identified any wherever Allah mentions anything concerning business, anything concerning the products and our services that we use every day, fruits and vegetables, clothing, furnishing, all of those are mentioned in the Quran. I show the current monetary value of those products and services and things that we use, food, vegetable, meats, you name it, that's mentioned in the Quran. And I thank Allah for, I believe Allah, I want to believe Allah guided me to do this. And that's where we are. And then, like I said, we do how to establish a business, choose a business name, register a business name, and how to write a business plan, how your business plan should look. And what I did, I took the SBA recommended business plan and made a PowerPoint presentation out of it. And I changed, and they used a person trying to get funding for a restaurant. So in that part where they served dessert, I forgot what type of pie they had there. Well, I took that pie out and put bean pie in there on mine. So but that's where I'm at on it. And I was doing these workshops monthly, and then I started back sometime during the virus. I had stopped, and I started back, I think, and for about 3 or 4 months or more, I was doing them every Saturday. July, I wasn't able to do any of them. Uh, uh, and this month so far, I haven't done any. I had intentions of starting doing them back on a monthly base, um, but I'm rethinking that because I'm looking at something else. I do know I presented, and I think I have to say I thank the Graceline community for allowing me to do a presentation during the month of Ramadan, or our Ramadan presentation. I did one there. Uh, so uh, I'm gonna stop there if anyone wants to ask any questions. Let me go. I also have some slides showing entrepreneurs under, I forgot what age limit they're under. Then I got 18 and older and 30 and up. I have slides showing the Forbes wealthiest professional sport teams owners. And reason I put that together is to show these young men who has the most money, the player or the owner of the team. And to my last checking, the only one that got their wealth off of owning a team was Tom Benson, that owned the Pelicans basketball team and the Saints, the football team in Louisiana, New Orleans. All the other professional sport teams owners they were already doing business, making money, and they bought that particular team for the most part. And also put a presentation together where Forbes showed the wealthiest uh, African Americans. It's a whole complete series of things that I have put together to do these presentations. So I yield there if anyone wants to make some comments or questions.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a follow-up question, I guess.
Yes.
Because I've watched several, many, I don't want to say the number, but I've watched quite a few of your presentations, especially the Saturday sessions. And I found them to be very good, very well done. And for someone who was wanting to start a business, very good information, step-by-step guide, all of that. What is the hindrance you think? Obviously you're an imam, you're now, the Southern sector leader. So I know that's time consuming in its own right, but what do you think are the major obstacles to you being able to continue on a regular basis, doing your classes? That's one question. And the follow-up question to that is, you have this visual history of the classes. And I don't know, I think you told me you weren't able to save everything that was on Facebook that you had recorded on Facebook since they changed some of their rules, but it wouldn't be very difficult for you to do some additional classes, do them on YouTube, save them on YouTube. I think, given what's going on in the country, that either through Chamber of Commerce, some governmental agencies within the state, federal governmental agencies that are pushing entrepreneurship, that you would be able to get some funding from those type organizations to enhance even what you're doing. Or have you given the thought to getting back into it on a regular basis, and also of getting some funding to even do it to a greater extent and maybe even broaden it?
I'm gonna have to say yes to all of your questions because again, the Entrepreneurs and Development Institute is a 50c3 nonprofit, even though it's faith-based because it was originally established, as I mentioned, that entity to be a masjid in Gulfport. And once I started doing my research and interest in becoming a business owner, it led me to where I'm at today. So I have thought about trying to go that route that you mentioned. I have a building here in Biloxi that would be a perfect place for an entrepreneur center. Um, I just need some help because there's areas where I'm ignorant to where to start, how to get someone to write a grant. I know several people who are grant writers, but I haven't approached them to see to have a conversation with them on that and everything. I know again the different resources that's out there, and I know when you're trying to do certain things, you need qualified people to do them because I think a lot of people have failed when they try to do everything themselves and don't have the knowledge of doing it. And so, yes, I have been thinking about that. I do know I utilize the public library prior to the virus hitting, and some friends of mine came one Saturday, and she asked me, she say, Tariq, do you get paid to do this? I say, no, it would be nice if people did, but I just love doing it. So yes, but thank you for that expression, brother Edward. That mean a lot. And thank you for again really that you shared that you are impressed by that hearing that, and I thank you for that so much. And did I hear you mention that maybe what keep people from approaching business, Edward?
No, I didn't really say anything
Oh,
about people
okay.
being reticent to approach getting into business. I do
Mm,
think that a lot of people are, they're hesitant to go into their own business. We have a lot of people who get into what they consider business, and it is, I mean, to a certain extent. But I think a lot of people are fearful of going into their own business because they think that it takes a tremendous amount of personal knowledge, and that's not the truth. It does, going into your own business does take some skill. In other words, you have to be skilled at something,
mm-hmm.
and obviously, it's better if you're skilled at something that the public desires and is willing to pay for. That always helps. But if you're skilled at something, the help that you need as far as forming a business and making your business successful, that's all around you. I mean, when you go into business and you're making any kind of money, even if you're just a carpenter who's hiring yourself out for jobs, you're going to need an accountant. The accountant is going to educate you on certain things about setting your business up so that you don't lose money to taxation and different things like that. The money doesn't seep through your pockets. You're at some point in time, you're going to need the services of an attorney. and the attorney is going to tell you how to properly set your business up, business entity wise, whether it's an S corporation, C corporation, LLC, so on and so forth. Again, so that you don't lose control of your business. You're not leaking money. You're not open to lawsuits. All these different things, that your tax situation is different. So if you're willing to believe in yourself and go into business, the help is there. The Chinese have this saying that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
It will appear.
So
And
if you're ready,
I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Well, no, I yield. Well, thank you. Well, in doing this over these years that I've been working at this, because I'm still a student, foremost and first, um, I stayed close to the Quran. Again, I stayed with everything that I'm dealing with now. I located verses in the Quran to address business, and in chapter 35 of the Quran, and I just stick with the English of it. Well, law says that's 35 verse 29. Law says those who study, and I like to look at this word, yet luna, even though I said I will stick to the English. Let me be careful. That this word, this word, this word is not just talking about recite, it's talking about research and study. Okay. So y'all
Mm-hmm.
shut me down. Look like I'm trying to do an Arabic piece now. Okay. Y'all say, hold on, wait, I'm serious, y'all, because I get excited and I go and I start getting into the Arabic expression. But anyway, he says study the book of God. They keep the prayers and they spend with what God has provided them with. You can do this secretly or openly. And then he said, Yarjuna, you can expect to have, and he used this in the present future tense. Tijaratin, a business or commerce, land. That's a strong expression here, this land that would never, and he end with another verb in the present future tense, tabur, never fail. So, and then never fail. And then he say, he will pay them their meed. No, he will give them even more out of his bounty, for he is all forgiving, most merciful. So I follow up with a conversation. I'm gonna skip that book. I'll skip that. I got some quotes from some of my motivation book here, The Master Key System by Charles F. Hannah. I'll skip that. And I want to go to, I got following that from a lecture Imam Muhammad did on business investments. He talks about the African American carry the greatest burden of social fear. And he's talking about being afraid to go in business in this particular article. And let me go down past that because this is a lengthy expression here. So I talk about and following that from one of my all-time favorite movies. And I'm talking about the version that Sidney Poitier, Claudia McDeal, and Ruby Dee did, A Raisin in the Sun. Okay. You remember the scene when they was discussing that $100,000
Yes.
that was coming? And it said, Ruth, Lena, what are you going to do about him helping him? Lena, you mean about the Walter in his liquor store? Ruth, I'm worried for him. Lena, but liquor, honey, I'm getting, and I can understand when she says she getting too close to be her maker, not to give him that money. I'm gonna kind of skip this, but here's the part I want to be at. So listen to this conversation between Ruth and Miss Lena. Lena, that don't mean that I got to be the one to sell it besides Ruth. We ain't. Now, here's the thing. Many that affect, in my opinion, many African Americans, we ain't no business people. We're just plain working folks. Ruth,
Mm-hmm.
ain't nobody business people until they go into business. Walter Lee say colored people ain't never going to get ahead till they start taking chances on different things in this world, investments and things. So Miss Lena said, what done got into you, girl? Walter Lee done finally sold you on investing. So we grew up, a lot of people in our ethnic group grew up with this mentality right here. Just plain everyday working people. And I thought I would add that to this presentation and everything because it's a powerful conversation in that scene on business establishment. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, that is so true. And most of the
yeah,
time, with the African Americans, a lot of African Americans, obviously not all, but a lot of African Americans that I have been around, is that they don't recognize their own gifts,
right.
and they don't know that if they simply applied the gifts that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has blessed them with, that they would be able to reap many rewards. I mean, it actually does take something that we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have a great amount of faith. If you call
Mm-hmm.
yourself a believer, or if you're on that track to be a believer, that faith is a big part of that. And we fail, a lot of us fail in the faith category. And we have a lot of pre-recorded excuses and personal limitations. And it has nothing to do with education. It has nothing to do necessarily with the social situation, because we know from our own history that African Americans, after the Civil War and even after Reconstruction ended, because Reconstruction liberated a lot of people to do a lot of wonderful things very quickly. And it was amazing how quickly African Americans who had now had liberty within the United States in the 1870s in particular were setting up businesses, stores, creating townships, everything. Everything you can name, African Americans had their finger in it. Of course, Reconstruction ended, and Reign of Terror, especially in the South, started, and a lot of African Americans lost simply because their lives were taken or businesses, families destroyed from violence. But that they weren't limited. They didn't know that they couldn't do anything. They just didn't know. Nobody ever told them you can't have a dry goods store. You can't have what's the iron workers that made the horseshoes for horses and all that stuff. What do they call them? Silversmith or blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a blacksmith. You can't have a logging company. You can't build carriages for people. Nobody told them they couldn't do that. They had been doing it and learning those trades on plantations and other workshops for their whole life. So it was just a natural to take the skill that they had and go do something with it and get paid a nickel or a dime or or a silver dollar or whatever the going rate was. And
Uh,
I mean, people paid
uh,
them.
hey, Edward, let me
Mm-hmm.
interject something. I hope you don't lose your thought. Chapter 57 of the Quran, Al-Had, the iron, right? And
Mm-hmm.
where Allah talks about we sent down iron, in which is metal for mighty war. Okay,
Right.
well, that's the translation. Okay, I'd stop right there. Well, anyway, look. So now, just that verse is chapter 57, verse 25. Now, hear what I have here. The global iron industry is rapidly growing. The global iron and steel market was valued at 1.7 trillion in 2024 and projected to reach over, and I think that's a typo on my part. I got to go back and check. So and I have to go back and check that. While the iron ore market alone was worth around 270 billion in 2023. Yeah, I'm gonna have to update this one. Um, so this is what I was talking about by these particular verses, me showing the carry monetary values of these things that's mentioned in the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the fear of bidding, where Allah say, if we just remember here and establish the prayer, we don't have to worry about our fear. We don't have to have a fear of failing. I mentioned following that from Dennis Kimbrough book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Man's Choice. I put his 10 causes of failure. dealing with fear of failure, following that particular expression in the Quran, where Allah tells us if we just do these things, we don't have to worry about our business failing. Because again, I tried to keep it to where present times, where we are in present times and everything,
Right.
by including things such as that right there. I just also I show on one particular screen, and I hope it don't take me too long. I'll just talk until I get there. Uh, the talk about the halal industry. Yeah, the halal industry. Here it is, right here. Costco's, it says, and the reason and I was going somewhere with this particular thing, and then I start with a quote where Imam Muhammad is talking about the halal industry for us. But I mentioned Costco's from an article I was reading concerning them purchasing 300,000. They averaged at this when I put this together 5 or 6 years ago. They was averaging 300 some thousand chickens per day and selling 100 million chickens annually. So what they did, they purchased a poultry complex in Fremont, Nebraska, and I'm looking at that now. So that put them ahead of the game with that. So I was reading an article again in Forbes, and they talked about the privately owned food markets. Privately owned food markets. Hy-Vee, they started in 1930. Their total revenue as of 2023 was $12 billion. Meijer, am I saying that correctly? Meijer, Meijer. Sound like
Bashir
that's a German. Yeah, sound like that's
or
German.
Meyer, because there's a doctor here.
Yeah,
Meyer.
Okay. Now they started in 1962. Their total revenue was 21 billion. HEB 1905 revenue for 2024 was 46 billion. Public 59 billion. Albertson 18. They started in 1939. Now, and I got this in conclusion, particularly if we look in the 60s, because Meyer is still around. So I only put this here to kind of awaken us. Why is it that, if I'm not mistaken here, did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad establish the first U.S. supermarket in 1964? Because that's what I have here. I asked that if that need to be corrected, to correct me on the date. So today,
I don't know that. Surely there's somebody on the line that probably knows.
Okay, but today we don't have a your supermarket. But when you look at all these other privately owned businesses here that Ford published, Meyer started in 1962. And so it's not, I didn't put this here like this to be attacking, but to hopefully inspire and awaken us to measure up to what we're supposed to be doing. I have something. Let me just go to a screen real quick because I'm kind of conscious of time because we got a convenience meeting coming up in about 40 minutes. Have any of you all heard of Al Safa Foods?
I'm not familiar with it. No.
Yeah, here it is right here. Okay. Now globally, because this is where I'm at, and I get into the Quran where it's talking about the meats and stuff we should be eating. So estimated global halal market, the current value is estimated at 2.71 trillion as of 2024. Okay, and so then I mentioned Al Safa. Al Safa. I've been familiar with this company for maybe 15 or more years. Well, and when you call up there, they gonna say Assalamu alaikum, et cetera, et cetera. But they're not a Muslim-owned company. They hired Muslims to run the company. They're owned by Jews out of Canada. Yeah. And they said themselves, we never said we was Muslim. They just hired Muslims to run everything. Yeah. And they're in Walmart in other outlets selling their halal, so-called quote unquote halal meat, because reportedly everybody that worked there in the processing and everything are Muslim.
Hmm.
So that's a worldwide industry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I did read this last week that within our community there is now a certified halal processing facility somewhere on the East Coast.
Mm.
And I want to say Virginia. I believe it's Virginia.
I
But I
think
could be wrong on that.
I think so. I do know I worked for a private contractor here at the Sanderson Farms. This is a Mississippi-based company. I think they have some branches in Louisiana too now. Um, Wayne Foods at the time. I was covering like three facilities in 2 or 3 different counties. At least the top 2 hours drive each time I go there. I would stay overnight and everything. So that's a big old industry, and all we did was go in, do the Bismillah, and observe the process from them hanging the birds to that blade, automatic blade. If you miss the automatic blade, the person that's standing there will use the manual cutting and everything. And our job is done basically, but we have to stay there for that whole shift until they break and everything. And that they classify that as being halal process. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
is there, well, I mean, this might be beyond both of us because I've only heard of bits and pieces of the halal process. I've never actually witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there's been a tremendous amount of vitriol between our community and the immigrant community over who has the right to classify something or certify something as being halal, even down to the facility. And that's been a bone of contention because there's a lot of money that is involved in that particular process. If you have a halal certified facility, you can take millions of dollars away from somebody else. Money will people will simply flow to you to have the halal process done so they can legally put that stamp on it in the United States, Canada, Western world, so to speak. It's worth millions of dollars to be able to put that label on a product, any product.
Well,
So,
one facility ran me off. I was in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, one of the most racist towns in this state. One of them, I said. I was doing my job. I was notating the number of birds that was coming through hung on one leg. By them being hung on one leg, it was totally impossible for them to get for that automatic blade to hit that throat and cut them. So it was on the back, on the right, and so I'm notating all this. So they made me leave. I didn't argue with them. I left. Okay. And I was notating all that because see, we had to sign paperwork every day that bird was processed halal. My signature went on those forms. So and the other inspectors signature went on those forms. So and and I'm aware of the argument that some say no, that's not halal, some say that's sufficient, et cetera, et cetera. And so, but that's what it was. That's what it was. Yes, it was. So I like I said, I'm coming up on. I wanted Matt Gribb is in as well too here. I can hopefully give another 5 or 10 minutes, and that'll give me time to make Matt Gribb, and then our conveners meeting start at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. It's 7:27 here now. Do anyone have any questions or concerns of anything that I might have said? My number, you can call me later. My number is 228-209-2877. if you didn't get it, I put it in the thing here. And please give me a call for any corrections or anything I said that was out of order. And I want to go ahead and ask Allah to forgive me, and I ask you all to forgive me too. My intentions was pure and just trying to be a good servant for Allah and a good brother for you all. Yeah, and everything. Yeah. Uh, this thing worked, right? I put my number there. If anybody should want to reach out, and and I want to take this moment too. If we have, well, they don't have to just be brothers. You might your that loved one in your life might want to get a. I also sell men suits. They are Italian cut men suits, Super 150 and Super 140 wool silk blend, poly rayon, and a microfiber blend. We have dress shirts also too, and we have some linen suits and cotton suits. And when the fall winter come in, we will have jackets and coats available. So if you're interested, we offer retail and wholesale on any of these items. And
Assalamu
if you
alaikum.
want to, Walaikum assalam, just real quick, I'm gonna stop. If you want to invite me to your city, your location, to do for the weekend or whatever, to do a presentation, contact me and we'll talk about what it takes to get me there. Okay, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Yes,
Brother Muhammad.
Imam.
I think.
Yes, Rick, I just wanted to say that good to hear that you were in contact with Imam Yahya Abdullah with his community. He gives the Juma here every Friday on AMP 60. So good that you're in contact with him. He can help you quite a bit because he's going into the TV market, Roku TV, Amazon, Apple. So if you contact him, he can give you a lot of help. And then there's Abdul Haq Muhammad. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No, sir. Well, Imam Yahya Abdullah and I, we're business partners. We go way back. We go about 15 years back now, being in business together.
Law Akbar.
Yes, sir.
I know he's one to help to bring the suits to us too. 121
Yeah.
forties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, brother, ma'am.
No, I thank you all for allowing me this opportunity to do this. And again, my apologies if I was said anything wrong or not correct. My intentions was good. So is there anyone else have any comments, anything you need to say, or questions or anything before I sign out? Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, and I know it is Maghrib time here, but I was just going to say this is a subject, I think, especially on halal, that we need to continue. And but just in brief, the Muslim, as Imam Muhammad told us some time ago, halal belongs to the Muslim. So if you're a Muslim, we can come up with that. We don't have to wait for somebody to come up with a brand for us or a symbol for us to call halal. We can come up with our own thing. We can, if we community, and I'm sure if we did it right, if we came together, then we could come up with our own brand that and rules and regulations of how to do the halal and what would be expected. Just like everybody, just like the Jews and even the Christians and the government and all that, they come up with their standards. And if halal belongs to the Muslim and we are Muslims, I don't know why we're waiting for others to do for us what we can do for ourselves. That's been a problem that we have had throughout our history here in America, as we got into the dependency stage that we wait for others to do what we can do for ourselves, and it still seems to linger on, even though we believe that now we are free because we have become Muslim, recognized Muslims, but we not taking on the responsibility, from what I see, as the Muslim. If halal belongs to the Muslims, why are we waiting for other people to come and do for us what we can do? And like the Imam was just saying, here there are other places that they cutting it, and I understand back then, especially the chickens that Saudi Arabia was getting, they got their own chickens now, so they eventually start doing for themselves. So, and that's the same thing we should do. We could came together, and then we have brothers and all in different parts of the country who are trying to produce, but they don't get the support from us. So pretty soon we hear about them, and then the next thing you know, they're gone out. But that's for another day. But I just want to encourage us that this conversation we need to keep, because food, clothing, and shelter is something we can deal with ourselves. That's something we can deal with. We can come up with our own designs, and we got people in the community, but they just need our support. So that's the reason they go in and out of business so fast. And usually it causes heart feeling, because you do this for the community and then you get no support, and you lose. And we got to stop losing, because we can support each other in halal. And if we want to come together, enough of us to do that. But yes.
Well, brother, I'm looking at, again, I'm still on the screen for this piece I put together from the Quran on making these connections. In the article that Imam Muhammad did, a lecture that he did, taking care of business, and right here it said, it is a bad reflection and shame on us if we are going outside of our community to Pakistanis, to Syrian, or to somebody else to get halal food. Buying food from Muslims outside of our community is not as bad as going to a Christian and buying food that is not a halal, or going to a Jew and getting food that is kosher. Some may say, oh, the Jew food is halal. The Jew food is kosher and not halal. It is halal only in the technical sense, not in the true sense of being halal. And that's from the lecture that he did on the article, taking care
Right.
of business.
Well,
So
you're right. Well, that's
brother,
the spirit. That's
yeah.
the spirit, which I'm speaking in. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
But
again,
we have
if
to do
anyone
it.
else
Nobody gonna do it for us.
okay, if anyone else have anything real quick and brief, you can ask me now. If not, Sister Khalidah, I'm gonna have to sign off here, if you all permit me to, and forgive me for leaving suddenly like this. But I'm somewhat of a when it comes to time, I'm pretty time conscious, and I like to respect time and everything. Uh-huh. Uh, so, am I good to go, Khalidah? She on mute. I don't want to leave without her uh, being aware of it.
Khalidah, maybe you should put yourself off mute.
Yeah, she's
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Did you hear me, Khalidah? I was saying I'm kind of coming up on the time that I need to get off here, because Matt Gribb is in, and I got to be in our conveners meeting at the top of the hour, and it's
Yes.
7:37 here now. I'm
Okay.
looking at the
You can
wrong
go ahead and
clock.
close
I'm looking
out.
at,
Yeah.
well,
Uh,
I just wanted to make sure. I was looking at the one on my laptop. The one on the laptop says 7:43. That's wrong, but it's actually 7:37.
okay.
So
I did want
again,
you to let them know about your upcoming broadcast. If you could do that, that would be wonderful.
my upcoming broadcast.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you, talking about on the uh
The one that you have sent a proposal for, inshallah, it'll be.
Yes. Thank you. I wanted to make sure. That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to overstep anyone. I have
Yeah.
I did a question fill, completed a questionnaire and sent in a proposal to have my entrepreneur presentation on AM 360.
Alhamdulillah. And
Yes.
so we just need a day that's better. I don't know if Wednesday would work better for you because the conveners meets on Wednesday. And then I know the
Right.
follow-up IWDM 50 is tonight because I got that email from Imam Bashir. Well, many of you were online,
Right.
did as well. So Wednesdays are busy. And then if
Right.
you work with the mosque cares, all their meetings are on Wednesday. I don't know, Wednesday is just the day. But if you would get that day solidified, we would be able to get that interview done. And inshallah, listening audience, he will be able to show his screen and show you the beautiful and well put together institute PowerPoints that he has been doing for several years now. I thank all of you for listening in tonight, and I thank you for your questions and for your patience. Thank you so much, Brother Edward, for your input, and Brother Muhammad Sharif, and anyone else who has contributed to tonight's broadcast. We're on Narrative Aspirations. When we aspire, we do go higher, and that's what we do. We bring people on who use their God-given talents to help remake the world into a better place for all people, and we let you tell us your why and your how. And so we hope that we'll see you again next week, inshallah. We will have another guest speaker, inshallah. Imam Tariq will have his own program very soon. And then we'll see you guys. We hope that you support him and that you continue to grow in your own mission for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can you please close us out, Imam Tariq Abdul Mukmin, please?
Yes, ma'am. ربنا أتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Our Lord, bestow good upon us in this life and bestow good upon us in the life to come and save us from the torment of the fire. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.
Ameen. Wa alaikum
Come assalam.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Martha. Did you need me for something?
No, ma'am. It's to you're leaving. I'm going to go to the meeting as well.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Assalamu
Thank you.
alaikum. Yes,
Alaikum
ma'am.
assalam.